We're unmuted. Welcome, everybody, to our finale of Chicago by Night. Uh, Without further ado, not much more to say about that. Let's introduce our wonderful players, starting with V.
Hey, I'm Phoebe. I will be playing V, the Banu Hakim of the Not Coterie Coterie.
Hi, I'm Beck. I'll be playing Irene, the lovely Lasombra of the group.
And I'm Jack. I'll be playing Joseph Martinez, House Kana, Tremere Primogen, the Prince's Warlock, Seneschal of Thin Bloods, and Expectant Sire.
And I am Ethan, the storyteller of this wonderful group of kindred. As per usual, we start our game with a recap of what happened last time. So we'll do that, and then I will explain how this section is going to begin. Our characters are going to be engaging in a project, which is a system that we haven't used from V5 before to try and wipe the slate clean of First Light in Chicago. So, as per usual, if there is anything that I miss or anything that you think is worthwhile mentioning or an extra cool moment that your character did, jump in and interrupt me as per usual, guys. Feel free to just interrupt me. So, our kindred began last night by recovering their wounds further and discussing their next plan of action with their fellow allies within Little Lamb's Cathedral. After some time, they gathered their things, and V led them out of the labyrinth. The first thing on their list was to go and see their ghouls to reinforce the blood bond upon them. V visited Josephine Haberman, a vampire hunter, who was ghouled to V as part of a past deal. The two fell into combat with the turned general of Chicago's First Light cell, Blue Serpent, who transformed into a great wolf after biting Josephine. Irene and Joseph appeared after hearing the loud sounds of combat, Irene quickly staking the transformed beast. They returned home and met up with their
And learning that Blue Serpent is not V's child, but in
Yes.
fact the child of our friend Arachne.
That's correct.
Eh.
A big "you are not the father"
Yeah.
energy. Irene's ghouls are Catherine Hart, a Second Inquisition tech genius, and Brian Summers, a journalist and blood addict, took the blood willingly after some brief discussion. Joseph's ghoul, Penelope White, also took the blood and the promise of knowledge willingly, as did Josephine Haberman after some discussion. How willing is one once they have tasted power and immortality really? After some brief discussion with potential allies, the group is now planning their final project to destroy First Light's largest base within Chicago. Let's see how successful they are with this project and where it leads them once the smoke has cleared. So,
Ooh. Yeah.
let's begin this project. Now, a project, depending on how large the scope is, I will have a D10 with me. And that, since this is a huge project, it's going to start at 10. With every successful roll against a certain roll against you, you will deal damage to this project. And once the project hits 0, the project is complete. If the project continues with you using all your resources, dots that you can accrue towards the project, then the project will fail. So, with this, you are basically gambling your dots that you've accrued throughout the entire campaign that we've been playing, the entire chronicle. You can use almost any dots except for lore sheet dots, but you can use the dots that lore sheets give you. But for example, if you get contacts from it, or you get fame, or you get resources, you can use those instead. However, once you lose them, you lose them. These dots disappear. Once nobody has any dots left to spend, the
Project fails.
project fails. So to begin, to launch the project in the first place. Also, I'll explain. This is going to be like almost like a montage sort of thing. Different scenes of our characters doing different things throughout this entirety of the project. It can be anything from gathering allies with a social role, or it can be threatening people to work under you, or else you will destroy them.
Yeah.
Or even fighting against the enemies to weaken them before your attack. That sort of thing.
That's
So,
a quick question I have.
yes.
Does us hitting the bases before this happened count towards that?
It will not have helped you, I'm afraid.
Got it.
Yeah, that was just part of the story earlier. To do the
Yep,
entire
that's all right.
project, it'll be
Yep, yep.
different. This is a whole new ballpark. And so, I need all three of you to make certain launch rolls to launch this project.
Interesting.
Okay.
I am up to debate these roles. Currently, I've written down, because it has to be a relevant attribute or skill, and then a relevant dots that you have in your merits, your backgrounds. So I currently have, for example, a either persuasion plus Mauler Khadijah for V as an example for a dice pool. Joseph might use persuasion plus mask as an example. Irene might use intimidation or persuasion plus herd. These are sort of examples that I've come up with. But if you have anything that you think is more relevant to your character, or anything that you feel is better to start this project with.
Irene would use leadership instead of persuasion with
Certainly.
her herd, I think.
Leadership herd roll, please. Add up those dots, make that a dice pool.
Actually,
you can't rouse for this, or can you?
You cannot rouse for these checks.
Okay.
I'll add on top of that,
Sorry,
you can roll a discipline instead, but only if you're using it for mortals. Against kindred, you can't use a discipline.
Now, could I do, this is a bit of a stretch, for the whole thing I've been doing with all the online work and shifting the population, could I do persuasion with my gaslighting thing and my fires and oh no, that's a law sheet.
That's a law sheet, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
you can't use that.
Right.
Yeah. Law sheets don't help you here, only what they give you.
I take it back.
So that's all good.
Have we fed before doing this?
Absolutely. So for this
cool.
project,
Awesome.
all of you are fully healed. All of you are at Hunger 1 for this process, because your health and your hunger don't actually matter throughout this time. It's a couple of months, essentially, of you gathering everything and making sure things happen. Or if you prefer, it could be years as you sort of prepare everything and make sure that you are ready for this. A project can last centuries and such.
Would manipulation streetwise be a better?
You have to use a skill or an attribute, and then a background or a merit.
Cool. I can't launch anything.
You don't have contacts, or you have.
I do, but none of them that tie into how I've been interacting with any.
You have a mask dot that you can use. Surely one of your law sheets give you something.
They don't.
Right. Do you have a
that's why I thought fires and floods, because that gives me, for a single pit in the story, it gives me 5 dots in status, something like that.
Yes.
Let me look that up one second.
I think in this case, I'll allow it, because I believe you used it last chapter and we changed it to you can use the abilities every chapter.
Double check exactly what it gives me.
I believe it gives you 4 dots or 5 dots in influence or something like that.
Once per story, leverage the goodwill to sway mortals to your side. 5 dots in goodwill for a single session, once per chronicle.
To be clear as well, you cannot use willpower rolls on this as well.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
However, special willpower is a different story.
Ah.
So
Ooh,
could
Interesting.
I then do, because I don't know what goodwill is, to be completely honest with you. Charisma, persuasion, or streetwise.
So you would like to
Goodwill?
use, I would say persuasion
Yeah. So persuasion,
plus.
leadership, or streetwise, maybe.
They all have the same amount of dots for you, I believe.
Yeah. So okay.
It just depends
and
how I'm
then
doing it.
Yeah, it depends how
Yeah.
you do it.
and then 5 dots in goodwill.
So that'll be
Okay.
7 dice.
Damn.
V, what are you thinking for rolling?
I have just rolled persuasion, Kadeja.
Nice.
Uh,
How many
nice.
successes?
I got a crit, so that's 5.
Fantastic. That's actually huge. Critting in these
Yeah.
is actually really, really massive, especially in a launch roll. It's extremely useful. So Irene's already succeeded. V critically succeeds.
I got a crit as well.
Hey!
Well, if you
Well, we all crit in that case.
Yeah.
So.
okay.
I can't get 8 successes in this roll without critting.
So amazing. In this case, since you all crit, for the launch, you don't need to put any dots in for the launch, which saves you dots for later as part of the
Okay.
project. Now, accrue all the dots that you can use on your character sheet, and you're going to mark that separately. We're also going to add some dots you're going to get 4 dots of resources from and 2 dots retainer from Prince Jackson as well.
So all of the dots we can use from our merits and shit, we just have to write that down.
How many
Do we
dots do you
need-
have?
Do we need to separate them into what they represent?
If you'd like to flavor them better, yes.
Okay. I
If you'd
understand.
like the scenes to be more flavorful of like exactly what I'm doing.
And we can choose what we offer, right?
Yes. So essentially,
Okay.
you are gambling the dots in the role that you're about to do. And
Sorry,
more
gang,
you-
I'm not offering my mask to this.
So if you think about it this way, you offer these dots, and you can't use them until the project's over. Your character basically puts these things elsewhere and puts them straight into the project.
I see. I have so many.
Good. Very
You
great.
need them because you need to make up for my lack of dots.
Resources.
If you take out the 5 I just got from Goodwill, I have 2 dots that I can offer throughout this whole thing.
I have 5, 8, 9, 10, 14, 16, 24.
God, shit.
Okay.
Actually, I forgot. I'm liked by the thin bloods, so that's I
Yeah.
can bring
Also,
3
you've
to
got
this
Arachno.
table.
We've all got 1 dot.
You all
of-
should
Oh,
have
we
a
all
dot
have
in
a dot.
Arachne. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any maulers you have?
Yeah, I've only got
Such.
2.
Kadeja, Gabriella, and
On the
2 in mask.
reverse side, you might find more difficulty if you have any enemies and adversaries. that you have to
Well.
deal with as
Incredible
well.
stuff.
Well, I think we've
And-
killed a lot of our enemies.
Generally,
was-
most of them have been killed. Yes.
4
So you've actually done very
resources
well.
and 2 maulers, you said? Not
Should have.
maulers. From Prince Jackson gets 4 resources.
retainers.
Oh, that's retained.
Retainers.
Joseph,
got
you
it.
can hold on to those as you
Yeah, I'll jot
Yes.
these down. Yep.
Give that to Joseph.
So you have something to
Lovely.
gamble. Yeah, so any of these dots can be used.
Mm,
Boingo, boingo.
epic.
So how many do each of us have?
5, 8.
7, 8.
25.
25.
At the end of that, I have 15, including Prince Jackson's additions.
Perfect. All right, we actually all have a decent amount as well. V, I
Mhm.
believe you also have Mauler in Aicha as well. Somewhere.
Oh, do I?
You
I
should.
did not write that one down.
You should
okay.
have a 2-dot Mauler in Aicha.
Well, then that gives me 10 now.
You two are best buds.
Yeah, love Aisha.
And I would say Damien's also a 1-dot Mauler.
Well, I can't really bring the
1
sheriff
dot
into
boyfriend.
this.
You can still get him to do something. And that's about it. I will offer you though, V, if you want to call upon your contacts in the Web of Knives, you can get some more things to use, but you have to be pretty desperate to do that sort of stuff.
Mm.
That's on the table if you require.
Okay, I'll write that down as a maybe.
A
Yep.
big question.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, project is set at 10. You've launched successfully. You don't need to put any dots into the starting of the project. If you crit success, if you normally succeed, you have to put you have to put dots equal to the severity, I suppose. It's not quite the right word, but you understand what I mean. Like how big the project is, which I would have required 7 dots, but in this case, crit success, you're totally fine.
0.
Now, we begin at the start of the project. So each of you individually has to decide how you want to approach the project and how many dots you're willing to gamble into this. A certain amount of dots the more dots you put in, the more likely you are to think of dots like extra damage to the project in a way, like it's combat with the project itself. So think about how you want to do this. Now, I have to be very clear here as well. You cannot do the same roll twice.
Okay.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you can't spam your best skill over and over
Yeah.
and over.
I see. In that case, I would like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
I have 3 dots of influence
Yes.
in the Catholic Church in
Mhm.
Chicago.
You poor thing.
I mean,
Ha 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 ha. If they are in some way funding this operation, would she be able to find that out and use the influence to stop that from occurring, leading up to the beginning of the project?
Reverse engineer it to funnel
Yeah.
it into your project instead.
Indeed.
Okay. Now, this is really interesting. I will need you.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much of these dots are you willing to gamble to put into this?
This is where her influence is, so this is all of it.
All
three.
the influence, all 3
Yeah.
dots of influence. Great.
Mhm.
All right. So, wits and insight,
Okay.
or sorry, insight influence. Technically, it'll be.
Insight and influence.
Yeah,
It's the
insight
same
and
dice pool.
Yeah, same dice pool, different sort of. This is you using your influence to gain insight through all these people into this particular
Very cool.
into this particular project. 5 successes. Okay.
Same.
Sorry,
I got 5.
you got 5.
I got 5.
You are going to lose 2 dots of influence.
Okay.
As you actually send these people out, and some of them don't come back from
Amazing.
trying to find out what this information is. You realize how dangerous it is, and unfortunately, you lose that roll.
Okay.
For our first roll for Joseph or V.
I think I'm going to use my dot in Mr. Canty as a mauler. he taught me about the First Inquisition, and I think having a mind to mind of using First Inquisition tactics to try and see how that would fall into Second and First Light stuff. Kind of like, we don't know how they're going to fight, but maybe we can see where they've come from to figure out where they're going.
Okay, so that will be investigation plus your Mauler dot.
Woo! Let's go. That's 2 dice.
Okay.
This is difficult.
It
You
is
can't do
difficult.
anything.
No, it is difficult, yeah.
Yeah, this was
Oh.
never going to be a huge success.
Now, remember,
thing.
you can use disciplines if it's mortals instead. You can
It's
use
I
discipline-
forgot about that.
use discipline roll. If you want to re-roll, I still remember what they got. To be fair to
Okay.
you, Irene, you can use a discipline depending on which one you want to use. I imagine you use dominate.
Mm.
Yes, that's the idea.
So roll your usual mesmerize.
Okay.
Roll.
I got 2
Two
successes.
successes. I got zilch on that
Woo.
one. So in the process, Mr. Canty and you spend who God knows how long all-nighters going through the library. You find some old books of the First Inquisition, studying up on how they did certain things.
My
Following
experience
through
with
history.
First Light, being like, how do these line up? Yeah.
7 successes. You win by 1. In that case,
Okay.
you just succeed. You don't lose any of your people, but
Mhm.
they get a bit scared off, and you only just manage to gather a little bit of information.
Interesting.
You don't lose those dots since you succeeded on the roll.
Okay. Cool.
V, what roll would you like to make?
I think to start, V is going to go hang out with Gabriella and try and make the whole area of Blacksite and the neighboring little houses and stuff a dead zone, technology-wise,
Love that.
so that no one can call the police or other
Okay.
people or help each other.
Technology plus your Gabriella Mauler. Roll, please. 2 successes. Now, this is going to be a tough one because tech is their specialty. But who knows? You tie. So,
Holy shit.
yeah, you tie. And so that means you don't. Okay, you can have the choice. You'll lose both dots, but you will succeed. Or neither of you win and you keep the dots.
What did you gamble? 2 dots
Gabriella.
in Gabriella. Because it just means she won't be a Mauler. Like, she's like, I've
Yeah, but
done
we're
enough.
tight. We're tight.
You can still be
I have
tight. She's
abused
just
that
not going to go
relationship,
out
I've
of
got
her
to
way
say.
to help you, kind
I
of.
think it would make sense story-wise that she's like, this is a one-sided relationship at this point. She's helped me a lot more than I've helped her. I'm gonna lose Gabriella. I love her, but
Yeah.
The two of
Still
you working
friendly.
together, she actually gives you these specific devices to plant around the area. And as you do so, there's a complication. You end up engaged with some of these First Light agents. One of them captures this device. And luckily, Gabriella deactivates it from a distance. However, she gets too close, feels pretty burned from like getting too close to the sun sort of thing, says, nah, I'm out. Good luck, best of luck. And you succeed, but you do lose those dots. Now, as an overall success, the project is going to be, so by 2 successes, success with a failure, and a justice success is going to be, how many dots did you gamble? 3, 5, 7, 2 damage to the project.
Nice.
So project is at 8 currently. The more you gamble, the more damage it'll do to the project.
Yeah.
I see.
The riskier it is, though.
yeah.
Because you can lose them.
Yeah.
So that's our first round. And then we repeat. We rinse and
Uh-huh.
repeat. Now, you can't do the same roll again.
Yeah.
I definitely can't.
Yeah.
No, I can't either.
Think about what
Okay.
you'd like to do. Now, you can also work together as well.
Okay. Because we can use each other's dots, right?
Yes. Since you
it.
have, you can use each other's dots if it helps each other because you're sort of working together.
Yeah.
And if you work on the same thing together, both of you will roll. So it gives you a better chance at succeeding.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because all I'm thinking is these 2 dots and retainers that we have might be good for Irene and V to use to like do a hit to weaken something with these retainers, maybe.
Yeah.
That's my thought of things I can offer. Because all my other stuff is like Eric Though, Thin Bloods, Arachne. Like it's
In
not a
what
lot.
way do we want the retainers to hit if we want them to go in first?
It would more be support to you guys. So
Yeah.
it's not just the two of you going to hit a first light base. It would be these two these two dots and retainers and you guys, because we're already very efficient and
Yeah.
clearly are able to handle it. So having extra support increases success.
Absolutely. Cool. Question is, how do we want to break in? How do we want to do that?
My thought was more like taking one of their trucks, like these trucks that are coming in and out, finding where they come in and out, and then picking a spot later down to like hit one of the trucks.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you
So maybe like melee or brawl and the two dots and retainer.
even larceny to steal one of the trucks.
Yeah,
True.
definitely works.
If you're
And-
decent at larceny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like V is the larceny person.
Yeah.
Got two
Because
dots. in it, don't
do you
actually
have to
the
do the
whole-
same roll if you're doing it together?
Yes, you
Okay.
you do have to do the same roll. You're attempting the same thing. It just increases your chances of succeeding.
Because Irene, what's your larceny?
Well, I haven't got any dots in larceny.
Okay, cool. Maybe we just give this to me.
Yeah.
Dana.
Trying to think.
So what dot would you pair with that V?
Are we using this for the retainers or?
This would be two dots and retainer.
Yeah, two dots and retainer.
You're using
and
the
then
ghouls
my
to
larceny.
stage an ambush, perhaps to hold them up,
To
and then
assist V so that there's
Yeah.
not like it's not obvious that a kindred took this. It's just like one of your trucks went missing.
all right, yeah. So 2 dots in retainer. Add that to your 2 dots in larceny and roll those.
I guess it's not a security analysis.
Yeah, no, it's not. Irene, what do you think of using?
I think now, because I used my herd during the launch, can I use them again or are they gone?
During the launch is fine. You can re-roll the launch roll.
Okay,
The launch is just to start it. It's during the project that you can't use the same roll twice.
cool. I know we talked about how we wanted them to sort of stage a kind of peaceful protest or something completely unrelated close to where Blacksite is. I think while V is getting the truck and everything, I want to use the herd to stage that. So it gets a big enough distraction sort of close-ish to the entrance that it clears some of the people close to where we go in, away from the entrance, so it's easier to breach.
You want to use leadership and herd?
Yeah, I think leadership and herd again. That seems the most appropriate.
And how many dots are you putting into this?
Good question.
Because V's you use 2.
I'll use 3 dots in herd.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Joseph.
Joseph, what role are you thinking?
I want to use Arachne
Yep.
to like just deal a blow to them, but I have no skill that I could roll with that.
Are you trying to convince her? Persuasion.
No, because she
that.
loves killing people. It would be so easy to be like, come kill these people. She'd be like, cool, I'll bring my kid.
You could use politics. Streetwise to find out where they are. Or yeah, it depends on what sort of skills you have. Even use drive to take her there.
Actually, I'm gonna use Prince Jackson's dots in resources.
Mhm.
And I think he's going to come at it from the kindred angle and offer the people who are interested, like armor, weaponry. He's like, this isn't some tee ha ha game. Here is the equipment. I'm setting you up for success. Really get both the Camarilla and the Anna. It's like he offers it very sideways to everyone.
That'll be a politics.
Politics.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll go around and hear also how many dots you gambling.
4.
Four.
You're putting all 4. Okay.
Love it.
Not my resources. So. And that's a
Yeah.
lot of people to equip with shit.
No, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
okay.
Yeah.
V.
Yes. I
many
did the
successes?
2 retainers and I got 3 successes.
3. You tie again.
Again.
Yeah. So you can choose to throw these retainers to the wolves and they have a shootout with the first light people. And you drive off into the night with this vehicle. Or you tie, you don't get the vehicle, but they don't get any advantage over you either. They think some gang members might have attacked them or something.
Well, makes sense with the people that Prince Jackson hangs around
Yeah.
with, but what do you guys think?
I think Prince Jackson expects the retainers to die.
Okay, but do you want them to die now or die later?
Well, if we're using them now, we can't use them later, can we?
That's right.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
there
true.
to be used.
Yeah, those 4 dots in resources, these 2 retainers were him just being like, here's my private support,
Push.
just use
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, I guess.
Can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
You happy to lose them, V?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're
Okay.
getting rid of these retainers.
It's a hail of bullets and gunfire that you escape in. There's maybe like a tire that you had to fix at the end of the night or something like that. But you do end up escaping with one of these strange garbage trucks where the inside is definitely not that crushing machine that they usually are, but some high-tech computer systems and a small armory inside as well.
Cool.
How many successes, Irene?
I got 6 and a
6.
crit.
6. You hugely. If you crit succeed, that's
Crit
huge.
succeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
massive. You critically succeed. You used what was it?
Leadership
Herd.
and a herd. Yeah.
They will fall as you've known before. Your little lamb sits there down in the underneath cathedral, listening to your speeches, inspiring the people into action, and to lots of water, wave imagery, and such. That inspires them and spurs them into action. This peaceful protest goes down very well, and only when there are distant gunshots do people start to flee the area. However, you gather a lot of information and such as well as since you critically succeed in this one using your herd, you do know that there is a rival project happening at the same time by First Light themselves. You know that they're currently at 3 successes. If they go over 10, they succeed before you. This project is to find kindred weaknesses. So when they can fully capitalize on it, you will also fail your project. Now you have a choice since you've discovered this.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Now you have a choice now that you've discovered this. You can choose to intercept their project and try to mess it up, or you can choose to further your own project whenever you roll.
I see.
Fascinating.
We're all split up at the moment.
Joseph, how many successes?
I got 3 successes.
3.
This is fun.
I have 4 on my roll here.
Special
willpower.
Yeah, I was willing to spend it, and so I shall.
You have 2. Don't
Yes.
forget,
Yep,
those
I'll
of
use
you
them.
watching, if you have enough watch points, you can give these kindred special willpower to
I like that expression.
7 with a crit.
critical success. Huge, absolutely huge. So
It
putting
finally paid off working both
I
sides of
love
this
it.
motherfucking country.
So with two successes, two critical successes and a normal success at cost, that's 2 more damage to the project, taking you down to 6, which is huge. It's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
So going through and buying the best that money can buy through both through the people that you know, some of the kindred that work with you, McTavish gets you weapons, and Hurricane also manages
basically
to
just
find
get
places
him
online.
money just to be like, take this, equip the anarchs.
Oh yeah,
going to the like Camarilla and being like, take this, equip yourself.
4 dots of
Honestly, in need of
resources
it.
is millions of dollars that can get you a lot
Load of money.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Equipping them with some of the finest weapons and gear that they can get, which will also
And
improve your
confidence.
chances in combat later as well. And V's succession of this garbage truck will increase stealth checks for later. And Irene, you are well informed, so any of your investigation checks will also be easier as well.
Ooh,
But this
Oh my
is
God.
all of you, not just for the one of you.
With the garbage truck,
Mhm.
for planning, that can be what we fill with the C4 to blow up that tower, and they won't know.
Good idea.
Ooh, yeah, mate.
Okay. The next round of our project, it's up to us if it's days, weeks, or months, or years, but the project continues onwards.
Hours.
We'll go hours. Could even be.
yeah.
If you
We're in
act
it now.
quickly enough.
It's
We'll do the reverse order this time. So, Joseph, what would you like to do for your next role?
So, am I now aware that there's a counter?
Irene, I imagine you've gone and told everybody that
Yeah.
you figured out that all these strange face plates, which were like virtual reality controlled, all these blood systems that sort of mess with sort of direct and almost like leash the beast in a weird way. Experiments, or there's also trackers for the blood, which you've dealt with before,
Yeah.
and a lot of experimentation on UV light and silver and those sorts of things as mythical things as well. So a lot of experimentation. So you're all aware that they are also in the midst of a project.
My question would then be if I could use like the goodwill of the people, which I have been doing, to get them to, similar to the riots or the protests that were just done by Irene's group, to do an equally large one against the military presence that increased in Chicago.
So you use this during the launch roll, I believe. So that means you can use it again. Yeah, but this is great. So in that case, what dots does it give you again? 4 dots.
5 dots in goodwill, and
Status,
then
I
I would
think.
do
status. I think it is.
no,
something like
it just says goodwill, which I don't know what that is. It just says 5 dots goodwill.
Strange. Let me double check that.
Yeah.
It usually gives you a specific thing of what it is.
Yeah. It might just be like
influence. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
influence. Cool.
Yeah.
Thought it was something like influence, but that's all good.
Yeah.
So you got 5 dots influence, probably leadership plus influence, I would say, to incite riots and such.
So you're working against First Light, is that right?
Against the military, because the police moved in and like we've been pushing with Brian and stuff to get the people like, why is there so much military here, to get all the Chicago people amped.
What's the government doing?
You have a choice with this role. You can either put their project further down. If it goes below 0, their project fails.
That's what I'm doing. Yes, sorry. I'm sabotaging their project with my
Gotcha.
goal to have these people be.
So you guys are working towards below 0. They're working up to 10. So it's like kind of the reverse.
I see.
Yeah.
What are we on so far?
You're on 6.
6.
Okay.
Critical successes are
6 more
really
to go.
big.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to do the one roll to like knock them back, and then we can speed run.
And are you gambling these 5 dots is going to get them once?
Yeah, because it's like once a chronicle, and it's not technically his name. It's just like the spirit of Chicago, of the people who have gone through travesty and shit like that.
Irene.
Okay, so I have best boy tally
Yes, you do.
What more?
You
You
do.
sure do.
My goodness. Yes.
Some
I
tactful assassination, perhaps.
Yeah, tactful assassination. I was going to use him to try and halt like resources going into Black Site because he has a lot of
Mm.
like military connections and
That's
stuff.
true.
Siphoning the weapons.
But I think having him, as you say, tactfully assassinate somebody, since we're already dealing with the sabotaging with Joseph this round, I think I'll use him to like from scoping out what they're doing, from having other people scope it out for a while, probably seen somebody that looks rather important come in and out on occasion multiple times. So I'd give him their description and tell
Did
him
you say
this
that
person
Blue
needs to go.
Serpent is just the leader of a particular section of First Light?
They are a general within this cell. Cell
Got
means
it.
this particular group of First Light, because this isn't all of First Light. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
a cell of them.
Okay, cool. I thought there were multiple cells in Chicago, and it's like, ooh,
Well, there were. Now there's only sort of one big one.
cool.
Yeah, so
What do you think? I'm leaning towards
Assassination.
melee plus tally.
yeah, I think so. If we're talking about how to do it on a logistical level, then definitely melee.
Or
If I
even-
need to,
Even
Yeah.
persuasion to persuade Tally to do it for you.
exactly, it'd be persuasion if he needs to be persuaded, but it would be melee if it's like this is how
Yeah.
it would need to work. I don't know which.
He
would be.
loves hunting.
It depends on which one
Yeah.
you're willing to give up. So maybe you
Oh,
can't,
true.
you can't do the
Yeah.
same roll twice.
I'll give up persuasion.
Persuasion and Tally more.
Oh yeah, what if we
Yeah.
V, what would you like to
Persuasion,
roll?
specialty, and papa.
do?
You're not wrong.
I am going to do Aisha and Streetwise, I believe. And
Nice.
we're going to figure out the quickest ways in, out, all of the streets, where people need to be positioned. And as she knows the street and I know some of the streets.
You have a
we'll have
specialty
that.
in the labyrinth, don't you?
I do have a specialty in the lab.
You can add that, considering that that is objectively the quickest way around town.
Yeah.
Specialties do help in this case.
Awesome. Good to know. Good to know.
Successes, Joseph, how many?
Oh, right. I got 4 successes.
4 successes. I have 5.
I will special reroll.
Okay, that is your last
It sure is.
special will.
Yeah.
I will also special will.
A
by the way.
dice.
Yeah.
I can't make this up. Jesus Christ is in my home. In my home. I can't count though. 8 with a crit is
Critical
Yeah.
success. Massive.
Like the chances of doing the special rerolls, both of them ending in crits, is like
Huge.
I'm screaming.
Irene, how many successes?
I have 5.
5 against this one. They roll less dice because I got 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They roll less dice because they're not prepared for certain things, such as Oblivion. Quite useful. V, how many successes?
I used a special willpower and I've got 5 successes.
Normal success?
Yes, normal. I was so
Okay.
close.
5 against their 2 success. So
Nice.
all of you succeed. All of you
Thriving.
retain your dots. Now, since we only got, it was 8 successes against, I didn't get that many. Yeah, so you go down to 4. Sorry, you go down to 5, and their project is gonna go.
0.
It's gonna go down by 1, but I'm also not gonna roll for their
Got it.
success on their project this turn. So it's
Interesting.
equivalent of 2, essentially.
Mhm. Nice.
Huge. So you guys are on
Huge.
5, they're on 2.
Yeah.
Our next round in the project.
Oh, right. Yes.
As
that's the plan. I was like, I rolled 2 crits.
on the
in a row.
news the next
That's game
day,
over.
there were riots happening across Chicago, at least some peaceful, some not. Some people taking things maybe a bit too far, but overall questioning things happening in the government. There were targets killed. Some governmental figures were assassinated during the nighttime as well. Then they're wondering why this happened. Social media is blowing up, saying it's a big conspiracy. Where's the money coming from? All the stuff that Hunter
From
was looking
Kevin
into very
Jackson.
long ago.
Mhm.
And V, you and Aicha just scoped the place out together using your celerity and your obfuscate powers. Successfully finding the quickest way in and out through the labyrinth as well. And marking it out with your own, like maybe a tag of some spray paint or paint that you want to use, etc. How you would like to.
Well, yeah, because
mark it.
V knows a bit about kindred iconography. She would
Mhm.
have like symbols that the Anarchs would recognize, and for their areas, and then for the Camarilla areas, symbols that the Camarilla would recognize.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
Very well done, so you can keep them apart as well.
Yes.
So our next round, we'll do the reverse again, starting with V.
God damn.
What would you like to gamble?
Uh,
The project's on 5. You're halfway there already.
yeah.
Once we hit 3 is when the attack will actually commence,
Okay. Okay. I
which will be different rolls.
think I'm gonna possibly risk my mask.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is real endgame hours.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Ooh. And I think, yeah, V's gonna do, I think, mask investigation, and this will be
Yeah.
more of like, with all of the knowledge we've got, she's going to like go to police stations, go to places, like find, like use her who she is, in a sense, use her like as a photographer, and she's done some documentary stuff, use all of the kind of networks that she can have through the university and resources that way to find like the names and faces of certain members that she's seen go in and out when they've been stalking it out previously.
Slinking into the real sort of kindred lifestyle of influencing mortality, mortals, to do your dirty work for you, but also work with you. It's a great role, especially with university students. A lot of them photography students, and government doing terrible things. University students usually on that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Irene, what role would you like to make?
I would like to get weapons for everyone
Great.
using all my resources.
Yeah. So you can either do melee resources or even streetwise resources.
Craft resource.
You want to make them?
She's making all of these
I'm gonna
weapons.
make them. Another option would be like finance for buying.
Yeah, if you
them
got
as
finance,
well.
occult as well if you're looking for special
Ooh,
items.
A cult would be
Ooh.
fun. I know how
Occult
V
resources.
likes her. Well, she misses her old dagger. We need to get her a really, really good
A
one.
real
That's speaking of-
special.
Oh, I did get one last session, but yeah.
A really, really good one. Crafted from the flesh of Hakim.
Flesh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
Yeah, your choice of those rolls. Don't forget to tell me how many dots you're gambling as well.
I'm gonna use all 4 resource dots.
Great.
Just
And
What's been destitute of my friends.
I can get
Joseph.
I will use my dot in Arachne, but instead of like getting her to fight, I think I want to use like Insight Arachne, and I want to get her on side because she's such a fucking powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get her and her kids. I know she probably doesn't want to get them involved. Almost. We kill Blue Serpent. No,
She's
You
in police
handed Blue
custody.
Serpent
that's right. She
over.
got. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about that then. I think I really need her like on point with this because she's a little hazy on some of the stuff she gets involved in, and he wants to be like, "We're killing, we are killing" to her.
All right.
Please.
Insight and Arachne. Starting with V, how many successes?
I used another special willpower.
Special
and I am
willpower,
now
now's
at
the time to use it.
3 successes.
Not again.
You, how many things do you gamble?
2 dots and mask.
You are going to lose those dots.
Oh shit!
With a critical success, you are found out as a blank body
Oh.
very quickly
Fuck!
and put on a
Damn!
Like,
Very
who
spicy.
are these people?
When you click on the wrong link, you're like,
Immediately
fuck,
reverse image search you, and they're like, "Why, hello."
Yeah, so
Victoria.
yeah, you cross
little
those.
chat box comes up and says blank
Yeah.
body.
It's a
Victoria.
The fuck?
it's a terrifying moment for V, I think, because that means they already have context to your brother. Like straight
Yeah,
away, they have that
immediately.
link. They know who you are.
This
So there's
is
this
the-
whole process of using those dots. You choose to lose it, but you move your brother away and use all that to cover it up and make sure that everything's
Yeah.
all right. But that takes
Oh.
your full attention away from the project.
Little bit of like social work stuff to be like, he needs assistance to go. So he's in danger.
Yeah. Go elsewhere, please. Thank you.
Mm.
And like, you know, the night after it's raided, they kick down the doors and such
Yeah.
like that. So
Golly.
it's the gravity of the situation sort of dawns on you in this moment. Irene, how many successes?
I got 3. I can special willpower if I need to, because I've got 3 willpowers left.
Damn.
Damn.
Save some for the rest of us.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
Did you use a cult?
I used a cult. Yes, I
Okay.
did. I like
You managed to find some old books that benefit both Joseph and V with the old magics and such that they have, as well as ways that they can assist you using these things.
Nice.
Also, you go through Chinatown, probably to a place you're not supposed to
Yeah.
be, and
Desperate
find some
times.
of these books.
Yeah, Joseph
through
being
there.
like, just don't tell anyone that we're here.
And going through there, you're not supposed to be there, as Eric Thos said, and a lot of people have
Yeah.
said as well. Strange man gives you these books almost like he knows what you're trying to do, without you asking for much. You leave quickly afterwards. And Joseph, how many successes?
Only 2.
Only 2. And this is using what dots?
Insight and 1 dot in Arachne.
You're going to
Lego.
lose those dots in Arachne. You try to convince her that this is the biggest fight of her life, and she says, "No, sad tone. She says, "No, I've actually found something worth living for, and I'm not interested in fighting."
And
this
he's
fight
just like,
anymore."
I'm so happy for you. I hate that you had to do this now. Could you have delayed this
Yeah, you
until
go-
next weekend, please?
Go to the back of the fast food place where all the the
Yeah.
chicken nuggets and stuff are prepared. She's sitting
Yeah.
next to her child. They're having a discussion, and you leave them.
Yeah.
Knowing
He would
that
have been
they'll be
like, I'm
happy.
so happy. You guys are great. Like, I'm so glad you found something. Then going outside and just being like, fuck.
Hmm.
Shit.
So in that case, 2 failures, 1 success. The first light project is going to go up to 3, and your project is not going to progress at all.
Bum.
So
Thanks,
I'm-
Arachne.
Our next round,
Screaming.
the tension in the project is getting to some of you, perhaps. How close this is actually getting to home.
Yeah.
How willing people are to abandon a cause just for their own gain, or
Mhm.
perhaps their own self-preservation and such as well. This is a big thing you ask. Have a think. Talk amongst each other what you're willing.
I only have 2 dots left. I have 1 in Thin Bloods and 1 in Eric, though, and that's it. And all I'm thinking of with Eric, though, is closer to the attack, having her like do big magic on the area, or like electrocute the fence or some shit like that. But that's it. I really do not want to risk my relationship with the Thin Bloods. That is one
Yeah.
thing. Like, it is on the table, but it is something I'm not ultra willing. It's not a complete no if they can help.
I'll throw you a bone, Joseph, that you haven't used a blood sorcery ritual roll yet.
Ooh, let's have a look at all of this shit that I have.
You can make a generic blood sorcery ritual roll,
Oh.
depending on what sort of ritual you want to set up.
Oh. Could I know that it only got released recently and it's a little sussy.
It's fine.
Could I do that ritual that makes humans not want to be at a location?
Absolutely.
And do that on the second or like around the first light.
Just because Irene is literally just giving you this book that teaches you how to do this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, ooh, nice.
You have that moment where you're all sitting there pouring through all these old tomes and making your way through. V taps and says, "Look at this," passes it to you. Joseph, you go, "Brilliant, I can use this. This is exactly what we needed." So you can make a blood sorcery. So this would be,
you know what?
Intelligence plus blood sorcery roll. That's all it is.
Intelligence blood sorcery?
Yeah, because it's a discipline. You can choose to use a discipline if you're involving mortals. In this instead.
And every single person in First Light is mortal, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. Irene?
I want to try and do something really risky.
Absolutely. That's what this is for.
Yeah.
It's do or die.
Yeah.
It is.
Literally.
Very much.
So I got Prudence 5 last session.
Okay. Your Fist of Cain.
Oh my
No.
god.
No. Punch
sure.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Even better.
I want to try and demolish some of these buildings, slip in as Tani. Well, I don't know. I don't think I can use multiple disciplines during one of these. But I want to
You can
earthshock
flavor
some
it
of
that
these
you do.
buildings. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Flavor.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do Strength Potence as your roll.
Lego.
Earthquakes happen. You
Yeah.
know, think natural disasters happen. V, what would you like to do? You can use disciplines if you can figure out a way to use them. If they affect mortals, that is. If they affect kindred, it's not going to work.
Ooh.
Thoughts?
External cameras on the location so that they can't see us coming in at that point, almost like putting the street camera, like using your photography to get the street and put it over cameras or something like that. On external cameras, using obfuscate is because you have Ghost in the Machine, so they can't see you as you go and just go.
Yeah.
A wits obfuscate for
Obfuscate. Oh fuck yes.
for a spying.
Give me that.
For a spying role using your obfuscate, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Now we're rolling dice.
Don't forget to gamble your dots. You have to let me know how many dots you're gambling.
Oh,
because
you can lose your discipline dots.
Yeah.
Can I?
No, you can only lose the other relevant dots, but it depends how many you gamble in this process.
Oh, right.
How much damage you do to the project.
So is it almost like what level?
Yeah, so if you do 1 or 2 dots, you get like a +0. If you do 3, you get a +1. 5, you get a +2.
Got it. Then just doing a flat discipline one.
Then you still have to pick how many dots you want to gamble in it, basically.
In the discipline. I see.
Okay.
You're still putting them. We're still playing poker with all your dice, but you still have to put chips on the table.
I'm bad at gambling.
I mean, you've done pretty well so far.
Yeah.
It's because I don't know the rules.
2 out of 3.
Ooh. Okay, I'm using another special power.
Okay, that's your last one.
But it was worth it.
I'm gambling with Dice Christ right now. I look at the dice and that tells me what I'm gambling. That's how that works, right?
I'm going to use a special willpower check because I want to crit so bad.
Yeah, I'm so close to critting and I keep missing.
God damn it. I got an extra success though.
That's good.
Did you use a special willpower, Irene?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You have 2 left. Joseph and B have none.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also have 2.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
When you roll for our allies, I very much look forward to that.
Honestly.
Giveth, they taketh away.
Yeah.
Joseph, how many successes?
I got 7 successes with a crit because Dice
Ooh,
Christ said
yeah.
it's blood sorcery, baby, and I said it is.
So,
Yeah, you just beat them, actually.
Oh,
Just
Because
beat
I
them.
got a crit, I trust Dice Christ, and I'm going to dump all 5 of my blood sorcery into.
You can
Yes.
only do the dots that you've put into the whole project, if that makes sense. You can't use
the dots you
disciplines.
rolled. That makes sense.
No. You can only use resources,
Oh,
allies.
got it. I think
So, yeah,
that's
you
why I
just
got
assign
confused. I was
contact
like,
for it.
Yeah, you can't gamble things that you are.
That you innately have.
You can't lose those things as a person. You can only gamble things that you can lose.
In
So,
that case,
what dots do you have that you can gamble?
This is because I rolled well. I'm putting my 2 dots in the Tremere into this,
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
which was not on my list of things to gamble, but Dice Christ said.
With a just a success, you work with just Eric Tho and yourself. You don't manage to
I
get
have a different dot in Mola with Eric though, so
right.
yes, it would closer be to. Yeah, that's the thing.
Since it's just a success, I will still flavor it as just Eric Tho helping you because since you got 7 with a crit, right?
Yeah.
They got 6 with a crit against you, so you only
Got it.
just succeeded. So in that case, only Eric Tho, perhaps Penelope assisted you as well, but the other Tremere stayed out of it, basically.
Oh no, of course, because
Because the Tremere were
that's
like,
all of the
fuck
Tremere,
no.
yeah.
he said I'm not going to support you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the ritual is done, but because it's so close to a first light base, it's
Yeah.
very hesitant, but it is still done.
Yeah. It's going to do the job.
Yeah, do the job, but was risky and like slow moving to be like, okay, we have to be here for a little bit to do this and then move over here without getting seen. And yeah.
Probably very similar after V and Aicha have already checked everything out, marked all the places where you need to put this ritual symbol and stuff like that. You follow those iconographies and such. Irene, how many successes?
I got 9 successes.
9 with a crit?
No crit.
Oh, critical.
No, I got successes on all the dice. I just didn't crit.
And this was your
Strength and prudence.
strength and potence. You know, a lot of crazy things have been happening on the news in Chicago lately. One of the baseball games was actually cancelled for these large earthquakes that happened over the north side of the city. Some buildings that
Not
were
the baseball
luckily
Damn.
quickly abandoned, and luckily nobody got hurt. It could have been a lot worse, but some buildings fell across the road and actually blocked up traffic for a couple of days. And it was quite disastrous. Garbage trucks couldn't leave the area for quite
And no
some time.
one wants to go near there after the earthquakes because of the
Who
blood
knows? There
sorcery
could still
too.
be some rubble that a building could still fall down. In fact, some of the areas have been evacuated nearby.
Nice.
V, how many successes?
I got 6 for my wits obfuscate,
6.
and I'll put my 1 dot of Damien. He can like spotting me.
Very nice. Since you have Ghost in the Machine, this will be more difficult for them. Yeah, you
Yeah.
succeed.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You
I
don't
was like,
get.
damn, I'm gambling Damien. Cool. Yes, good.
He could have died.
Fuck.
You know.
He's a
So
strong-
with a
he can look up.
so we got 1. How many things did you bet, Irene? I think you bet 2 dots.
No, I bet 3 dots.
3. Okay.
Damn.
Okay. So your project's going to go down to 3 with all of you working together, which
Today's the day.
reaches the point. Yeah, exactly right. So as part of this, project continues. The first light hits 5 with a critical success as
We're
their
still
project
beating them.
continues. You are ahead. You're ahead
As
by
we should
3.
be. Fuck.
And by 2, I guess technically.
Yeah.
And it's time, essentially. all this past few months, few weeks, everything that's been building up to this, everything prepares. Each of our characters find themselves on this. It is almost a blizzard tonight. It's cold. It's almost a whiteout. There's barely any vision. It's a perfect time to move through places, to be not seen very easily, and to take advantage of the cold as well. Each of our characters find themselves in a converted room of what used to be just a simple plan that has turned into this large table where there's this big paper or blue matted plans set up with all these markers, little pieces of paper pinned in everywhere. Weapons and things are actually on the side that are collected. And the three of you find yourselves here, having a scene or a moment together before our next stage of the project. If there's anything you would like to say to each other or to any of the characters that you've met along the time, this is your sort of point of no return.
Yeah, the war table.
Yeah.
Truly.
A big red button ready to go.
Yeah.
Ready.
So who's in the room at the moment? Just us?
Whoever you'd like, whoever you manage to get on side.
Okay.
You can also call people and such. Early night.
I think like all the little figurines that are on the war table are like probably really well done, like little craft things that Penelope made. Like, so very clear markers of who is an Anarch, who is Camarilla, like where we've seen targets, probably like where the bomb will go off, the trajectory of all of that. And I think Joseph's just like really checking each one, like he's literally like shifting bits, like an inch out, like into different spots, being like, okay, if they move in, yeah. All right. It's happening, finally.
Finally.
Yeah. This is the point of no return. This is the end.
Not the end. The end for them. Yes.
End for them. I mean, yeah, there's no going. I'm just saying that there's no going back on this plan. This is
No.
Yes.
It's all or nothing at this point. We've already done
confident.
too much for
Rather
this to go
go
badly.
early.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't see it possibly failing after all the work we've done over such a long time.
Fucking hope not.
The two of you have been so. Well, V, you've been made to do this, really. And Irene, you've been doing this for so long. So there's no one better for the situation, really.
No.
Yeah.
You couldn't have done it without a great planner, of course. You like adjust another one of the figures.
No.
I'm very nervous.
That's understandable. It's scary. We're allowed to feel scared. This is a big deal.
Especially
Yeah.
because there's not going to be any recognition for any of this, probably.
It's the fighting that makes me most nervous.
I see.
The last time I fought in something this large was the War of Chicago. And I was very new to everything. And it's bringing up a lot of those memories, that uncertainty while requiring absolute certainty in my own abilities that I didn't even fully understand. And it's strange to be in this position now, to be running it.
Yeah.
You're a lot different to what you were back then, though. You know
Yes.
things more. You know more things. You have people on side that you didn't before.
Yes.
Got a position. You've got allies.
I mean, it doesn't make me any less scared. And I think that's what's making me more nervous.
Yeah.
I trust you two implicitly in every possible way. but I'm aware that the two of you can't simply stand by my side the entire engagement. You're going to need to split apart from me to fight these people. And it just worries me. Not that I'm going to lose you. I just worry.
Mm.
And I just want you to know that on that battlefield, you are being thought of.
Means a lot, Joseph.
Yeah. We're thinking of, well, I'm thinking of you two most of all. That's sort of wasn't the reason I came here, and it wasn't the reason I started doing any of this, but it is what it is now. Things have changed, and this is how they are. And I'm infinitely happier for it. And it gives me total confidence in knowing that what we're about to do is the right thing.
Yeah. We wouldn't have made it this far if we weren't good at leaning on each other's strengths and working together and just trust each other in general. We've
It's
got this.
less of a point, but I should be said, if this is before the engagement, that this has been my home for a very, very long time. And the two of you came from places that have nothing to do with this city. And I know that you don't particularly think of it as you are fighting for Chicago. You have your own reasons for the things you're doing, but you're fighting for my home. And that means even more to me. So thank you. Chicago may never thank you, but I will thank you on Chicago's behalf. And
More than
hopefully
enough.
we'll get to the other side of this and
We
you
will.
can, not be thanked and continue to do good work.
And not be thanked for it. It's a vicious cycle.
Of course.
If we were in it for the thanks, we would have given up years ago.
Yes, honestly.
Far out.
I think you probably because I can have armor, right? Like with the amount of resources we dumped into this, I can have like a little bulletproof vest.
I put
You
4 dots of
certainly
resources
can.
into shit.
Yeah.
So
With that many resources that you put into it and Duncan McTavish being helpful, he can get you the good stuff.
Cool. I
Military.
think it just has a bulletproof vest, but he is still wearing like a similar get up to this, like a dress shirt and a tie under it. And he like rolls his sleeves up and is like checking his forearms, which is his weapon before this. He's
God, you look like a politician.
Well,
I mean, you are.
they're going to wish I was.
Sure.
Good.
Scariest politician they've ever seen.
Definitely.
Cool.
Is there anything else you're thinking about? It's better to go in with a clear mind to this kind of stuff.
Is there anything else we need to do?
I don't think there's anything more to be done except win.
Yeah, just rally the people, make sure everyone's doing their jobs and taking them down.
But are there secrets, regrets, anything at all?
I don't know.
Are you asking this in the context of if we die?
You
Anything that may be weighing on your mind that you would like to get off?
look, the only things I'm worried about are making sure that Michael maintains okay, and I guess making sure everything goes smoothly. No one frenzies, especially not me. Don't like it when that happens, and yeah.
I'll try to stay within earshot to support if possible.
I know that the people I care about will be okay if I'm not around. They'll probably be better off, to be honest, but yeah.
I resent that last point, but yes.
I just
I think she meant people. We
I'm
would
aware.
definitely not be better off without her.
haven't seen them in a while, and it's too hard to do it now. But
That's
that's
good.
on my
Let's
mind.
let's make plans for when this is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right, let's rally the troops. Do you want to talk to Tally, Irene?
No, he's already given us enough and helped us very much, making this easier by getting rid of a key figure.
Yeah.
From the board. So I'd be pushing it if I came to him for more at this point, I think.
In that case, I will go and find Eric, though.
She's probably not too far away, considering that she's still probably preparing a bunch of things for this, potions, drafts, and that sort of thing. Probably in the next room over, having a chat with perhaps Penelope or someone.
Yeah. I'd go in there. I think just a little bit of general, like, don't get. No, he knows that Eric though kind of needs to like do her own thing. I think he says like, ensure that if things go sideways, this is very important to me, but not more important than your life.
This isn't my first rough and tumble, so to speak, Joseph. You don't need to worry about me.
You can't ask the impossible of me, Eric, though. I will always think about you and worry for you, but it will make me fight harder when this happens.
We've survived worse than this, and we'll survive this as well.
I'm glad. Thank you for everything and for what will come afterwards, because we have a great deal of things to do.
Of course. Now give me that jacket. I'm preparing clothes. She
All right, thank you.
dips it into a big vat of blood, starts incanting over
and
it
I think he
such.
like moves over beside Penelope and he's like, you should definitely head home before all of this starts. Like, you've seen some of the sorceries that we do now. He's like, so what this is and he kind of not huge detail, but tells her like how the geometry lines, and he's like, we can get into that later. Stay safe, and probably tomorrow night try to make contact with me, and we'll go from there. Blah blah. Just really reassures her. Probably gives her a little bit of blood just to be like, just to tie you over. And then we'll send her off.
While we're seeing the two engaging and chatting amongst each other, is there anyone Irene or V would like to speak to?
I think V's just like, she might have like a little chat while she's doing stuff. She's not going to like go to a specific person, just to, but she'll check in with Khadijah while she finishes the one with the blade ritual, so that she can make sure that a new knife, a Turkish clip Bowie knife, is all prepared for this thing. She's also preparing some cloths and rings for this new ritual that she'd been studying about, that helped with the books that Irene has given her recently and triggered up some memories. And she's just getting all the ritual stuff prepared so that when they go in strong.
Khadijah, we see V and Khadijah working together on this. Khadijah adds on. She doesn't correct you with the spell, but she adds on to it as you're doing, which enhances it further, makes it easier to do this ritual. It seems like she's done it quite a few times before, with different things. And we see these two working together also. Is there anyone Irene would like to speak to?
Yeah. I think she would want to speak to Catherine.
Catherine's here as well.
Yeah, she just pull her aside into a room and just say, I know you're putting yourself in immense danger by coming here and helping. Thank you for doing so.
That's all right. Technically, it's gonna give me more work to fix everything after it's done. If you probably don't want to hear that, but
No, I understand. It's a glass half full way of
silver
looking at it.
lining, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. I wanted to ask you a question that's been playing on my mind a little bit, especially recently, especially since we came back from that month where we were astray. Tell me honestly as well. Do you, ever since we came into contact with each other and we've been working together, has it made you happier? Has it made your life better?
Yes and no at the same time. I don't really know how to answer that. The first time we met, that month was probably the hardest month of my entire life. But ever since then, I picked myself back up and I refined my purpose and my beliefs in things and found some things to work on, both in myself and projects and stuff as well. So, yes and no.
Do you regret it? Do you regret what I did?
I don't really even think about the past much. I don't like to. I'm too. What I do is here and now. A computer needs to be fixed now. This upgrade needs to be done now. I'm living now. My cat needs food now. I'm here now. Things have happened, but I'm here now. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. You're right. The past is there, of course, but it often means very little to nothing, really.
Think of it like a great big spider web. Or lots of spider
Nice.
webs, I suppose, where you fight your way through each stage of the web. You get stronger for it, but if you stick around with it, you just stay tangled where you are.
Yeah. Stagnation is not a good thing,
The enemy of progress.
as they say. Well, you've cleared my mind, so that's good. Just, you are doing a great job of it already, but make sure you protect yourself above everything else, because no matter how much work you get out of this, it's still dangerous.
If you think I haven't planned for every contingency, then you're talking to the wrong woman, Irene.
I know you have. I just care about you and I want you to be okay.
You see that there is a flush of color through her face and her body as the blood empathy allows her to know that you mean that in that moment, and she sort of subconsciously puts her hand to her chest, leans down, puts her head down slightly, and looks down at the floor, and simply says, "I'm glad I met you, Irene.
guide her out and just say, "I'm very glad I met you too."
As these groups of people sort of mingle, discuss, send some people home, finish with rituals and such, you all group back together and we engage the final part of this project.
Lego.
So, we are going to pretty much ignore everything I've told you up until this point.
Done.
You have your plan.
Done.
We're not going to be doing this as the normal project rules. You already have your
Okay.
plan, so we're going to be doing roles regarding the plan that you have.
Okay.
So, to start with, I will get Joseph to make another intelligence blood sorcery roll. Irene, I will get you to make a. Let's have charisma leadership.
Uh-huh.
And V. I'll have dexterity larceny.
Cool. Can we still not rouse to this and stuff?
These ones you may rouse for, and you may use willpower for.
I love the normal rules. Haha.
It'll just take a little bit more to hurt the project.
Right.
How many successes, V?
Okay.
6 normal success,
Yeah.
regular success. You work with Gabriella and Khadijah as well. Actually, Aicha, not Khadijah, Aicha, to set up this garbage truck full of these explosives that you've pre-prepared and organized. The hurricane assists you as well. And you succeed in making sure it's all set up. You've got a hair trigger ready to press whenever you're ready for it. Joseph, how many successes?
8 successes.
8 successes. You and Eric Tho work together to give everyone blood sorcery on their clothing, on their weapons, to make sure that they are prepared and ready to go. Irene, how many successes?
8 and a crit.
With critical success, you gather your Camarilla allies, tell them the plan in a very encouraging, very Irene sort of encouraging way.
Yeah.
And
Encourages confidence, not so much encouraging.
Very much that.
and together you engage in the project. Now, as this begins, what would each of you like to do? The start of this project is the explosion, which V, you'll be in charge of. It depends on where you would like to be and what you would like to be doing during this.
I think organization-wise, probably split things up into like ranged, our close combat fighters, we kind of split it into 2. So I think Joseph would be with the ranged company. Probably working with Eric though, who would like try to electrify fences and stuff like that. He would shoot down, and like with Duncan and stuff on the Anarch side, their ranged company also hitting from both sides. So I think he'd be shooting blood darts and using his Auspex as well to point out like that person's wearing one of those suits. This person has this. He's, as he has always been, he is the man in the chair. I think he has like all these different phones that he's just like unmute. It's over to the left. They have this kind of helmet, but like the person near you has it. I think he's Auspexing the shit out of it. He's running it, I think. Not shooting, he's running it.
Okay. V, where would you like to be?
I think Yeah, I'm going to be on the opposite side of the base from where the explosion will be, so that I can attack and go in on the side while the distraction is happening.
Straight in the front, on the ground.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Soaring leap.
And I imagine, Irene, you'll be next to B in this case.
Yes.
Close range company.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely making use of arms of armor and plucking people from all directions and making sure she's well fed at the same time as ripping people up.
He just stands there like this and you just pull people onto them.
Yeah.
So, we'll have, for this first engagement, the explosion. First things first, everything's in order. And whenever you're ready, V.
Yeah, when I get the go ahead from Joseph.
Yeah, I have everything set up. I'm like, all right, check 1, check 2, check.
On to DEFCON 5.
Eagle 4, you are good to go.
Yep. Kaboom.
There is
Bestie.
that.
You're good to go.
There's a silence for a moment as you press the button V, and then everyone sort of waits. Everyone sort of looks at each other for a moment. And as you lift your finger to press it again, this white flash happens. No sound that you hear, but then the shockwave sort of its way through all of you, kicking up so much snow that it blinds the area around you, both allowing you cover and also giving cover to the people that you are moving towards. This blinding flash brings down this huge electrical tower just on the side, snapping wires and electrical sparks flying everywhere as it slowly leans down, crashes into a building in the middle, and drags its way through itself. Now, I'll need 3 checks from everybody. Joseph, I will need charisma leadership. And Irene and V, I'll need strength and athletics.
Yeah, let go.
He has 2 messages ready. He has half a message of it worked, good job, and it didn't work. Thanks for trying. Ready to send to Catherine. He deletes the it didn't work and hits send.
Queen born.
Regular dice roll, so we can use regular willpower,
You
right?
absolutely can.
Thanks.
Yes.
Goodness.
The more you use it earlier, you won't have it for later, though. 8 successes, Irene, with your check. Normal successes?
Normal successes, no crit.
And V, 3 successes.
Use a willpower. Get 4 successes.
4 successes. So, a lot of things begin to happen. First of all, it is not the blinding, but the little flashes of fire that you see as automatic guns begin to go off. And flashes of light as flashbangs, even explosions happen straight away as the base seem fairly prepared for some of these things that can happen and ready to mobilize very quickly. V, you'll take 2 superficial damage as you're shot at. And you are clipped as you run straight towards this base along with everybody else. Some kindred get it worse than you. You just get clipped in the shoulder as you run along. Joseph, you don't manage to hit anything, but you just throw things like everybody else. There's a bunch of people with guns and such nearby that are just throwing things into the big snowstorm that you've almost picked up around you all for this particular round. Irene, you are already in the thick of it by the time you reach here. You're right there at the front door. The gate is the sort of this large metal shutter has just opened up, and there are people pouring out where you can see. They're wearing head to toe black sort of SWAT gear. They have guns in their hands. All of them have UV lights. They all have black masks that cover their eyes as well. To your left and right, there are creatures and kindred and such that leap up upon them. Some of them get shot. Some of them, it's a Nosferatu next to you probably jumps onto them, rips off their head as well as their helmet straight away, starts making their way through. And what would the three of you like to do now? The snow begins to settle, and the firefight starts to get serious now.
I think more of a support role at this point, because we have our people mixing with their people and being kind of in charge of the shit, making sure that the range company don't hit our close range company. So I think it's a lot of, I want to say allspecs, but I don't actually have things that would help with that. I think he's trying to assist everyone with verbal communications to make sure people don't hit each other.
I'll have wits awareness for that one. Keep your sharp wits and being aware of everything that's happening around you. Irene, you're in.
I'm going to use
a minute.
readiness.
I think she'll just try to use, we'll go all out. She'll use the shadow parasite to try and both kill somebody and spook people at the same time. Yeah.
Make your roll for that. And V.
V is going invisible and is going to try and get in as much as possible. Their plan is to take it from the back to us.
Pincer it.
A wits obfuscate, please.
I'm going to pick up. Ooh, remember how readiness works.
Oh my God.
Is that a good gasp or a bad gasp?
It's a good. It's not
Only
messy.
good gasps. Oh my God.
7 regular crit.
7 with a regular critical. Irene, how many successes?
10 with a regular critical.
Ooh. Can you roll a manipulation intimidation for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So because of my readiness, I only got to add 1 more dice to my
Something?
7.
7.
Whoa.
It's pretty horrifying to watch, V, but it gives you perfect cover to go into the base, actually. As there's a huge firefight going on. There's blood flying. There is gunfire. Next to you, there is one of the Bruja that you probably haven't seen before. They're ready to fight another one, and they just explode right in front of you as a grenade launcher is just fired straight into them. And during this time, one of the men who sort of turns to face you, gun in their hands, Irene just looks at them. Black, inky darkness goes across her eyes in just a second. It's almost like a tree that grows inside of them instantly. It actually splits them into so many pieces. Like parts of their organs are speared on different parts of the tree and just shoots out in this bloody display of supernatural power in such a horrific and quick manner that some people nearby actually start to retreat straight away. Some of them actually turn screaming and start to run back into the base. You slip by past them. You vanish the man just in pieces in front of you. How many successes, Joseph?
5 successes.
5 successes. You're aware of everything that's going on. However, you are outside of the base. Everything out here is your domain. You have full control over everything. People are dying on both sides, but you have the advantage at this point.
Perfect.
And you're commanding things from backwards and forwards. Looks like the Anarchs are doing quite well as the Camarilla over here as well. And you see V vanish, go inside the base. You see Irene tearing up people around them.
It'd be one of those unmute the V phone and be like, I have you live, V, like, keep me up to date. Yeah.
V, you slip into the base itself. And as you slip inside, the magnitude of how large this place actually is sort of comes to you. There's a huge freight elevator. That's the first thing you see that actually goes down into the extra levels. There are buttons that go all the way down to 32 of the different floors of this place. It is huge, it is immense. And using this, I imagine you take out some people from behind and sort of open up the place for... With so many successes, Irene, it's not long, and Joseph, it's not long before that first battle is over. And the only things remaining are just Kindred feeding off of the last bits of blood from these people to refresh themselves. Nosferatu with blood dripping down their face. Ventrue, telling one of them to shoot themselves in the head and such like that. And you all make your way down through towards this.
Yeah, I think that's the command call of like unmute everyone and just like, okay, everyone move into the first door, freight elevator spotted, like range stay back, close company move in, prepare to, like he is making sure everyone is moving as a single unit. Because the minute they split up, you pick one off, pick. So he's like, everyone stay together.
You all make your way to the freight elevator. Now, get some general roles for what you want to do in this next scenario. I imagine there'll be a lot of melee roles and such.
Strength melee. Can we be used in potence as well?
Oh, of course. Don't forget to make your rouse checks for those as well. If you're
I think actually there might be, I'm going to risk a lot of my hunger. And I think I'm just going to be like, you want some Baal's caress? Stick a knife in me, like get ready. And I think he just, whoever has like a blade near him, and if Eric's there, I imagine she also has it. Khadijah, she wouldn't want to do it publicly. I think he offers his Baal's crest to people who have weapons and stuff.
It's mostly Toreador who have sort of bladed weapons. Banu Hakim is sort of a yes and no, depends on what you use. Bruja generally use blunt force weapons or their fists. Same with Nosferatu, their clawed hands are more dangerous. So it's not as much. I'll tell you what.
That's good.
It'll make the next rolls easier, but you're going to go to Hunger 4.
Perfect. Yeah, he's just like, bladed weapon, close combat unit, come to me. Like, it's all very official, everything he's doing. It's not like, come get your juice. He's like, as much as I'm saying that, he is not saying that.
Okay. So, the battle through this entire place, if you're a close combatant, you'll definitely need to make a dexterity athletics as well as your normal rolls.
Dexterity athletics.
If you are keeping away,
yes,
I will instead have composure resolve.
Oh, for hunger, that changed my roll very quickly.
Yes. It does make Irene and V's job easier, however. The difficulty is lowered.
I got 5 successes on the dexterity athletic.
5 successes. You are going to only take a single superficial damage as you make your way through. Bullets ripping their way through, but you're healing through most of it. And I imagine you grab some people and drink off of them and heal yourself to push your way through this sort of Bloodlines-esque style of finding the time to feed and heal yourself. V, how many successes?
Yeah, V's not so lucky. She got 2 successes.
You'll only take 2 superficial damage, as it's a lot easier as your weapons are more deadly. Now, a single cut will kill someone instantly. Joseph, how many successes?
Dice Guys has come to humble me, abuse me in my own home. I got 1 success and like an almost certain bestial failure.
Yeah, morale is going to take a bit of a loss as a few of the kindred under your command die as a person steps out with a flamethrower and just tortures about 7 kindred easily. They die so quickly.
Yeah, that also makes sense because I think he has almost built this mental not fear of fire. So when it happens, he's like, just stand there. And then it's like, oh,
yeah.
of
This
course.
Fire! I pushed back.
This
And then it's like-
Bruja with a baseball bat, like, just manages to clip through into the tank, but it blows them up and the person as
Yeah.
well, sacrificing themselves. It's horrible display. Morale is quite shaken at that,
Yeah.
but people are still moving
Mhm.
and still making their way through. I will need everybody to use the remaining willpower as just a roll. It's not a frenzy. It's just a roll. Actually,
Mhm.
we'll do composure resolve instead. Actually, we'll do composure.
Okay.
Composure resolve.
Aha.
Yeah.
Does that mean we add our hunger to it and
Resolve.
stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
You push deeper into this very science fiction-esque base. Lots of moving platforms and armory sections and people being prepared, ducking out of places. A lot of science coat labs or sort of gas masks or yellow disinfectant suits to keep them away from things.
I might use a special willpower in this instance.
Sure
'cause I'm
thing.
not vibing.
You have one remaining.
That is 3 successes.
3 successes.
Hey!
You manage to keep your cool, and through keeping your cool,
Oof.
the people the kindred continue to
God.
follow you through this area. It's what you see in this next section
Right.
that horrifies you is living kindred of all kinds. Nosferatu stuck in a containment sort of big water, a green sort of tinged water. They have everything but the sort of, they've got IV drips sort of in them. They seem to be on some sort of torpor stasis. There are some thin bloods who are kept in sort of large containment units as well. There is just the red mess of what were 2 kindred, where one has had enough and torn the other one to pieces and drank them, clearly. That is sort of a white essentially in there as well. Some of them have these face masks on them, that big silver plate that sort of goes over them and has all the injections that go into their body. Some of them flail around wildly because of it. Others sort of kept in a torpor-like state. The
Jesus.
experiments that have been happening here are very inhumane and push the limits to a lot of things. Some of them are just rooms where you see just ash in the center of the room. There's nothing left but just a pile of ash. And some of them are people. Yeah. So you keep your cool.
I think he uses this because probably not everyone's going to stay as cool-headed as us. Some version of centering or just being a commanding presence to be like, this is what we're trying to stop. This is the reason that we're doing this fight. Use this as motivation. Do not be deterred by this. This is why we're here.
Some of the Bruja lose their shit and start smashing shit nearby. The fury that runs through their veins is unstoppable and crashing through things, exploding certain sections, which helps in the element of chaos as some of these whited or crazed with hunger kindred get loose and start to tear into humans or perhaps even other kindred nearby as things begin to continue. Now, you push further, deeper into this place. The chaos echoes its way through, Anarchs are pushing their way through elsewhere. Also, you push deeper, even deeper through. Now, you come to a hallway at about the 16th floor down, as you've just wrecked your way through this entire place. Chaos and fire. A lot of people have been destroyed, but not as many as you thought might have. You still have the upper hand here. And you come to a corridor where as soon as you turn the corner, there's just a big boom and a huge explosion happens right in front of you, knocking a lot of you back from the shockwave. Some of the fear frenzy makes some of the kindred duck away and around as whoever was first, I imagine V, you would have been first. You probably saw what was happening and then ducked back as the explosion sort of happened where you once were. There is a huge American Abrams tank that is fitting in this hallway that they appear to have just let loose to just fix whatever problem is happening here. That is pointing its gun, its barrel directly down this hallway. Anyone can make an intelligence technology with special.
What?
I'm good.
My intelligence technology is
three
four.
dice ain't bad.
Mm.
Oh fuck! If it's 4, that's 4. Let's go.
Girl.
Let's go, beast.
2 success is a big hunk of metal, and it makes explosions happen.
Huge.
It's bad.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
Big
but
thing
that's-
go boom.
Yeah, big thing go boom. You're not entirely sure how it works or why it works, or you just know that it's probably going to bring this whole place down. If it's and it's also halting your progress.
Probably the command that I'm thinking of immediately would just be like close quarters, corrosive vitae the barrel. Whoever can. Like move in, like Erictho, Khadija, Aicha, V, get in there, corrosive vitae this thing. Probably some like ventral or something that I'm like, who taught you that? Okay.
You're like, I will need a full report at the end of the night, but not
Yeah.
What's your name? What the fuck?
Okay, I'll need a wits obfuscate from anyone trying to sneak up on this thing.
No, thank you.
Good luck, V.
Anyone.
I don't
Me.
have corrosive
Yeah.
vitae, so
I know. I might as well rouse for this.
why not?
I get hungry. That's fine. Still less than Dursa for once.
I'm gonna use my law sheet and go down to 300.
All right.
Just because you
If
said
you'd like a messy critical, you can have one.
I've got
Me.
5 successes, so
Nice.
I wouldn't mind. If that's
I would recommend.
Take
Yeah.
messy
Take
critical.
cool.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Just be like silently.
Mm.
That thing looks fucking terrifying.
It's like a Joseph being like,
8,
anyone
I
with
think now.
corrosive
Yeah.
vitae move in, and Irene being like, quickly, and
Yeah.
being like, oh!
I'm like, oh, yep, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Oh.
Okay, so what happens? A tie goes to the player, and you sneak your way up as best you can. But in the process, as you're sort of sneaking your way along, you actually do make it to this tank. And once you make it there, you just hear the boom of the cannon as it fires. And
I can take it.
No, you can't.
No, I can't.
Joseph, you very much can't.
I just am reduced to ash.
this now you have a
Chronicle
choice.
ends.
You have a choice as you tie with this tank. This is not for you, V. You're perfectly fine. Joseph and Irene, you can take 2 aggravated damage each, and everyone else can, or someone is going to take the full force of this and is going to die.
Okay.
Not one of
Okay.
you guys, but one of
Yes.
the SPCs.
Who is on our team right now?
So Khadija, Aicha, whoever else you brought really with you. None of
Because
you
we're the
guys.
Camarilla gang. Yeah.
Yes.
Khadija,
Um,
Aicha. Who else is here? Erico?
Eric, though.
Eric, though.
Yeah.
Technically, Tally is here.
He's not Camarilla gang, but
Yeah, but he's.
He's vibing somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
fact
he's
that
always
everyone
Tally's not on there.
is here- Oh, okay.
He's not on the option list, I'm
We
afraid.
sacrificed.
Yeah.
Um,
You know,
so
we don't have-
triggering.
a lot.
Yeah.
Camarilla wise, I don't recommend getting rid of.
I'm willing to take the damage. Are you?
2 aggravated each. Yeah.
I think it's-
We're going to become impaired though, and it'll be harder for us to do anything as a result.
Then my question will be in the future to Ethan, could I surgery mid-assault? Real gross, real bad, like, but enough to only unimpair Irene.
Oh, that would be...
Doesn't it take a scene?
It would be risky to
Technically.
do. If you, I'll allow you to do it just on Irene. but
Only on
nobody
Irene.
else.
That's all I care about. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll take the blast, and then we'll just immediately just be like, you can't be fucked up right now, and just like I'll do the roll and everything.
Yep. So basically, this
everything back into
huge
shape.
explosion knocks back all of the kindred as it just fires recklessly into the side. A lot of people begin to flee or begin to move their way around. Some of them start to plan. Some of them start to make their way around to see what they can actually do. But you reach the tank, starting to use corrosive vitae. It's gonna take a long time. This is not a gun. This is not,
Yeah.
This is thick metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I want to
you-
get like 3 people on
You'd be
it.
better off trying to open the tank and get inside
Got it.
than
Think I
or
might.
use that as a way to melt your way inside and get into the hatch on the top.
Yeah, I think I'd melt through the hatch to get the.
I'll get a strength larceny check.
Okay.
Interesting.
Pulling this out, lifting this is actually quite a lot of force. Really use those knees.
I'm gonna rouse.
How much aggravated do you have right now? Just the 2, Irene?
2 aggravated and 1 superficial.
Rouse.
Representing all the different kinds of damage.
7 with a regular crit.
Yeah. You melt the part of the hatch that locks it so that it fucks up the circuitry, and then you just hoist using your knees and really pushing it to try and make your way in. You said a messy crit as well?
No, regular. Very much
crit,
regular.
yeah. Not a problem.
Don't
You
scare me.
open it up and leap inside this tank, and it's just a flurry of blood inside. You can sort of see it from a distance, Joseph. You can see blood spurting out of the top. But you don't see exactly what happens inside. Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Nom.
So I rolled 6 successes on the thaumaturgical surgery.
Yes.
But it has pushed me, like the activation got me to 4, and then I roused, and that's brought me to 5.
Yeah,
You
your
make
He
Hunger
is
frenzy.
constantly commanding people. Like if people aren't looking around, but his tone shifts from like, don't move over there to like, fucking stay here. And is like ripping shit out of Irene and like dribbling blood in. Like he is just pulling, he just clamps part of your chest and pulls it together.
So yeah, now if you cannot rouse the blood at 5 hunger, and if
Yep.
you have anything that makes you rouse the blood, you automatically do a hunger frenzy check.
Yes, but his tone has shifted from very calm commander to very aggressive commanding.
Mm-hmm.
Irene, you convert those aggravated into superficial.
Okay.
It takes a fair bit of work because it burns as well. It's
Yeah.
not very pleasant. And B, you pop out a lot more bloody than you were before. The path is cleared. You make your way through. I'll get another combat roll from everybody.
Okay.
Your choice, or whatever roll it is.
Lego.
Composure resolve.
I think I know I'm gonna roll.
I hate rolling all these hunger dice. And the hunger hates me. Two successes.
2 successes.
Rouse.
No beast.
Oh yeah, rouse.
I'm rousing.
I've been doing
well
okay.
now. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Just as I said I'm doing okay, I get hungry. Of course.
That is 4.
Ooh, I'm gonna use a will.
11 successes with crit.
Damn.
Incredible.
Good thing
Right, a
I'm
messy
impaired
crit.
you.
It is not clean crit at all.
Ooh.
Messy.
11 regular crit
Okay.
for Dex melee.
The two
And me just like
Joseph has been. There's a point, Joseph, where people stop listening to you and they
He's
get
yelling a
lost in the
lot,
chaos. But Irene and V sort of create that snow plow, that funnel that allows people to move quickly together. V, you quickly use your celerity and your knife skills, as well as just a single cut is all it takes for this whole scene to take down particular targets that would give Irene some trouble, people with flamethrowers and stuff like that. Irene, your arms of Ahriman are simply picking up people and slamming them through, forcefully through grates or forcefully into the ceiling or smashing through glass and such, becoming an absolute, slowly
Grinder.
walking, arms raised, just slamming people out of the way consistently, pushing the way through. Now,
Just yelling like, follow them!
I'll get one last roll from each of you.
Another combat roll.
No, this is
Oh.
a separate roll.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
grab my 5 hunger dice.
Irene,
Yeah.
it will be strength athletics. Actually, stamina athletics.
Ooh.
Okay.
Joseph, it'll be resolve investigation. And V,
Mm-hmm.
it will be composure streetwise.
Okay.
Three successes.
3 successes.
5 successes.
Mhm.
I'm going to use one of my regular willpowers. 4 successes.
Okay. Now, go through one by one how this looks. 5 for Irene.
Yes, 5.
Once you reach these lower levels where you find the worst cases of what's been going on and what's been happening, slamming through, killing the last of these people, and making your way through, you begin smashing the glass and trying to retrieve any of these kindred or any of these poor humans who have also been part of this scientific experimentation and starting to get them out of here. It's clear that you've won, that this is destroyed. This whatever's left of here. As a matter of fact, Irene, I would say your arms of Ahriman actually rip down some of the foundations of this place, and with V's corrosive vitae helping you out, and Joseph telling you where exactly is the right places to rip down. This place is going to collapse, and you begin to grab anyone that you can save from this place. And V, you direct them exactly where they need to take them. Joseph, you direct who needs to be saved first and such. And Irene, you're working with all these people to grab as many as you can. You only managed to save about 28 kindred that you've never met before.
About
28.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's not as many as you've seen, but it's as many as you can get.
Yeah.
You make your way to this freight elevator as these red blaring alarms going on and on and on, telling people to evacuate immediately as the whole place crumbles down around you. And the last thing as our kindred escape from the scene, mostly unharmed, having lost a few of their own. V, you're the last one, slowly lowering yourself down the manhole just behind you, who sees the building just collapse in on itself, and almost the entire section being weakened from the earth shocks earlier actually crashes into itself, crumbles down, and buries all this stuff, whoever was left in there and such, under huge amounts of debris and dust. The dust clouds that cover Chicago are huge. There are news helicopters. There are police. There are fire departments who begin to arrive by the time you've already left. And chaos begins to erupt amongst the city. Calls of terrorist attacks.
The military.
Yeah.
some military
In response to
attack
those.
or coup or something. Whatever this might be, there will be a response. And as Chicago lights up and wakes up because of this huge interaction, we're going to take a break.
Nice.
So thanks for sticking with us so far. That's our halfway through break. And we will catch you in about 5 to 7 minutes when we return.
Hell yeah.
See you in a moment.
Ooh.
Welcome back, everybody, from our break. With the project counter reaching 0, the successful finishing of our project that our kindred have been working on for some time, we enter a state of our story where the last chapter wraps up. And we get a wonderful opportunity, like I offer my players in all my games, is the seat of storyteller to tell us what happens in the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, the next few years for our characters, for our kindred, where they go, what they do, who they become. Whether it is to stay in Chicago and gain more power, gain more influence, shift things in a certain way, or to leave, go elsewhere, fight other battles, or for other reasons entirely, or perhaps just vanish into history somewhere. The floor is very much you three. It's all yours to tell the epilogue of your story, that this inherently has been your character's story. So I invite you all to take your pen in your hands and to write this story together as returning as an official coterie, but also splitting in their own ways.
Joseph is going to stay in Chicago regardless, so I'm going to leave details to V and Irene first to see what happens, and then slot my story around that.
Great.
Oh, difficult.
Well, if you leave, like, I immediately leave Chicago, I'm like, well, I don't say that the years to come we do this together. So
Yeah.
No, you just say how dare you and then cry. V surprisingly stays in Chicago. Like, not something she'd ever thought she would do, but after that, after all of the time that we'd spent together as a coterie, this newfound family that she has, the family, she's finding that she has a position, in a sense, within Chicago. It's not an official position. It's not as fancy as Hound or Primogen, but it's a place.
Unofficial assassin.
Kind of. Well, the amount of fucking people that have asked me to kill people, I mean, which she would, depending on the person, take up the offer if someone is like, put a hit on someone. That's a potential thing that she would look into. She has to start from scratch though, because she lost her mask. With her connections with the prince, and I'm hoping after all of our great work that he would be benevolent enough to help her.
Because you would have got a haven separate to Joseph's, right? Or would you have moved back in?
Does she?
That's a very good question. I think she wants to give Joseph, like, to make him understand that he is his own person, his own kindred. He is his
Yeah.
thing. But
He's like, this is a big fucking house.
it is a
We
big
have
fucking
all
house.
of this tech shit.
I'm just
for
going to
you.
be on the other side of the house. I'm giving you plenty of the house. I've got like not a granny flat, but like a room that's fit to the corner.
Or it's like a temporary stay, maybe. It's like, it's not your dedicated haven, but he's like, you always have a room here.
And she's constantly there as much as she can
Yeah.
be. But
she's
she's
like,
also,
I don't need to stay here. And she's there every night.
yeah, she has also got an apartment near Michael, where she's now moved Michael to a completely different location. She's got a completely different name.
Yeah, I think I would have helped with social worker stuff to get him into what's it called? Something protection. Witness protection. Into witness protection.
Be good.
Yeah.
That'd be ideal.
That's what I would have helped with.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, with the connections that she's felt, she'd also like try and, you know, hopefully with the ricocheting effects of, you know, the anarchs helping us and stuff, she would be helping. I'm assuming Joseph's still on the side of, hey, we need to be peaceful.
Yes.
She'll go back to try and talk to anarchs who want her nothing to do with her, and she'll go back to being stubborn as hell. But also, yeah, working with Hurricane, working with that, and just hanging out with baby Chorus and Damien as well.
It would be that long term, because you can't fix how old some of these wounds are, but using V as that intermediate unofficial anarch.
Yeah.
Getting her to slowly, over the years, integrating ever so slowly, even back to when we first came to Chicago, and it was still like they're very separate, but there's like that tiniest bit of overlap even after all of this.
Yeah, she'd be helping to work to get people's names off blood hunt lists and names off of the
that
lists and all that bullshit.
If Joseph had a say in anything, that list would be immediately removed, especially after coming to light of who wrote it and for what reason. It would be immediately removed. With any power he has, he would just be like, never really talks super straight to the prince, but him being like, this is a child's move. Drop the fucking list. So that would not be an issue, which hopefully would help.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about this, but it's hard to know. She would definitely stay, at least for a while, but I think for the first time, probably of her own volition rather than the volition of somebody else. And I suppose that's because she's made so much of a life here now. As much as, actually no, maybe she would stay in Joseph's house just for the spa.
I mean,
it's a very similar situation of him being like, live wherever you please, wherever you feel, you have a room here, and you're like, thank you so much, and you just are there every day.
Yeah. I think she would sort of live in between there and probably her own place, whether that be in the church itself or in a place close by, so she can be as close to her people as possible, learning from the rabbi and from Little Lamb too, and teaching them about their spirituality sort of together as a collective. As it is. And I think because the Inquisition stuff was a large part of her purpose, a very large part, and that's sort of the way she forged for herself when she came here. A lot of her time would be working with those two specifically to find a new one. And I guess now, because she can sort of commune in a strange way with these drowned beings, she would probably be studying that more so than anything else and trying to figure out what they are, what they represent.
Not alone either.
No.
Did you say study?
Yes, I said study. Something that she's not that good at either. So she would definitely.
And he has the shroud ability to be like to help.
Yeah. On the other side of it, I think eventually she would pucker up the courage to go and speak to Abby, who is Catherine's ex-partner. The way that I ruined her life in that first month that she was talking about, I'm like, don't mention the war, but this is good. Eventually it would probably be the most sort of fumbly and human Irene probably gets, I suppose, or probably has been in a very long time, because speaking to her, she is sort of transported back several centuries in like a single moment. And I don't know how it would end up between them, really. Probably not the way she expects. Maybe they have like an acquaintanceship, but nothing more. And she realizes that it's not the same person. They're remarkably different.
Yeah.
And it's a visage that she remembers from a long time ago, but it's not quite the same. And that just sort of leaves a bit of a gaping hole. I think
simultaneously almost like the humanity and that like void flaw, unfortunately, would have made it like even harder.
Yes, it's very difficult for her to connect with people in an authentic way, which people usually connect with each other.
Yeah, and I feel like would she have done this alone, or would she have spoken to anyone about it?
I think because her and Joseph have shared a moment in regards to her sort of realizing that she's other to the people that she cares about, she probably would have, especially, and because V and Joseph both helped her with the curse and it sort of left something behind. She would have gone after it on her own, but come to them after with like, this isn't right, there's something wrong.
I think Joseph would have like encouraged us, but just try again. Like with people, you have to try multiple times, and then that second time still not working out, and him just being like, I'm so sorry that this can't be what you want it to be. Yeah. Let's go talk to little lamb.
She'll make it all better. And I think the other thing that's very much in the back of her mind, but it'll completely ruin her life, is that she wants to sire Catherine like a lot.
Ooh.
But Catherine is a tech girl.
Yeah.
So she knows that if she does it, she'd be taking away so much of
the whole thing. Yeah.
What Catherine does and who she is currently. But I think as much as she can do it without giving herself a guilty conscience, Irene would try to
actually
encourage Catherine to open up about things that she likes and other avenues that she's capable of exploring for the purposes of bringing her into that position, but sans the fucking trauma and horrible situations that members of the clan are usually put in before they are embraced.
This is also something that probably Joseph would have offered, and definitely that kind of decision of like, she's a techie girl, if I want to sire her, he would offer to sire her, because then she would still be able to be tech. He would not be ultra handsy on. It would bring her into this world that you could still connect with her, but not like ruin her life like that, but would offer like, I could, and it would not give her some horrendous curse. She would have different abilities.
Wow. She'd be a real Tremere Ubermensch, wouldn't she?
But I think he would offer that. He would.
Okay.
Because he would also like, it's not exactly hidden, but he would be like, it would simultaneously grow Tremere numbers without putting one of the bad Tremere in place. So
we'll make her Hascon.
That's what I would offer, and it would definitely be like a very much like, this is your option if you want her in this world and you think she's ready. I could get the permission.
Yeah.
and do it.
Irene would personally, she'd hate that,
Yeah.
but at the same time, she sees the merit in it for Catherine's sake. And so if it ever got to a point in the future where it was a thing where she was going to get sired, obviously Prince Kevin Jackson, if he is still in power in however many years' time, would prefer it to be a Tremere as opposed to
Yeah.
But
So it's on the table. It doesn't happen. But
ultimately, if it was a choice, I would give it to her.
Yes.
And she would choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whatever she would choose, she would choose.
Educate her on it, of being like, touching computers would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's her sort of, that's what I envision for her.
And just keep doing hound stuff.
Yes.
Do you aim for sheriff or do you stay hound?
I don't think she'd aim for sheriff sort of actively at this point.
Yeah.
She doesn't have time.
Yeah, everybody got time for that shit.
Yeah.
True.
And she's sort of driven by something else now, given the fact that she's seen these things happening in the city. The official Camarilla stuff gives her security, but doesn't give her drive.
Yeah, that hound position is like, I'm in it now.
Yeah.
I have a good job. I'm gonna leave it be. And that stability of having the Lissombra in there.
Indeed. Yeah.
Instead of just like climbing to the top of it.
Yeah. Ambitions are elsewhere.
Still surviving.
Yeah. Exactly.
Always surviving.
At least for the time being. Yeah.
I think that once all of the conflict dies down, the first thing Joseph does when there's like a level, like he would monitor the Camarilla Anarch situation enough so that people are not at each other's throats, the list is thrown out, he gets like the big stuff leveled. He then leaves to Alabama and he mourns with Raphael's family with them for like a while before he comes back. And then he does a lot of work with all the kindred that they did save from the base. He does do like the cataloging, he goes through and he I'm not sure how much you had of it planned, Ethan, but like if any of them are Camarilla members, when he does this like blood walk on them, he's like, this is your child. You have to follow the tradition of creation, even if it's outside of your control. And he tries to get these people integrated where they need to be integrated so that they're not just loners out trying to figure out who and what they are. The people who do not have sires he recognizes, it's almost a parallel to his thin blood situation of he educates them, he gets them in with actually I think he tries to replace the position that Critias has. I think he tries to replace the old like education system that he has to make it a little more equal. Whether he works alongside Critias, I don't think it's to Critias's fault. It's like alongside him to educate these new people. He continues for years to just ever so slightly improve people's thoughts on thin bloods, just very subtly. He's like, look how helpful they are. That's a very background thing that he's just constantly trying to do. Monitors, just constantly the Camarilla and Anarch to be able to stop fighting each other. I don't think he does anything about old mate and Gary because there's not really too much to do. He spends a lot of time with Penelope doing the monitoring, the cataloging of all of these new people. He is constantly like, she's just his like shadow basically to be like, see how I acted this way? How does that make you feel? Like he checks in with her all the time. He teaches her constantly. And ultimately when she is ready, even through the blood bond, he like deliberately waits for it and again waits for her to have it fully out of her system, and then he's like, are you sure you want to do this? He does this like constantly, like he gives it's like almost like microdosing her so that she gets a feel for it but isn't swayed too heavily, and then he would sire her when she feels ready. And I think he would keep working really hard and diligently and try to get another child out at some point. Like he does begin to expand the Tremere, but that is like decades, centuries. He does not rush the process at all. He spends all of his time with Penelope before even thinking about it. He works with the Tremere. Every single step of the way, when any form of the pyramid begins to form, because DeSable's growing his numbers, that he tries to work to not have the pyramid reestablished. Not in destroying it, but just he keeps integrating too well with the lower ones. Any new one, he keeps educating so much that it keeps flattening out the pyramid so that it never fully forms. Just because I think it's kind of funny, I think Joseph would try to get word to Kana. I think he'd just like, hey sis, love your work, be safe. Not super.
Continue slaying.
Yes,
Maybe
we do slay.
What else? At some point, years down the line, I think a bit sooner than anyone, even him, would have realized, I think he does fall in love again with someone, another human. And I think she's like an event coordinator, or like she's like a local politician in one of the like western or southern suburbs, and he like helps a lot with his social work stuff. Like that's the connection, is they're doing social work stuff with this political move, and they get to know each other, and lots of sanguine energy, of course. And he gets back his treat others as you would have them treat you conviction through that. I think he just stays in that position of mentor, guide to everyone, to every clan. He follows his word to a T. Anyone needs anything, he is there. I don't know how he does it, but he gets revenge on Son somehow. He has to.
It's actively planned. We start an entirely new project.
Yeah, I think his revenge starts with his success, because the whole point of Son trying to control him was control over him, and he just stays above, and he just keeps growing and being more respected. People still hate him because he's a Tremere and stuff like that, but it's just Son has nothing on him. And then ultimately something happens to Son. Don't know the details. He gets thrown into the void or some shit like that.
Just as we planned.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of plan happens where, yeah, he goes missing. And at that point, I think this is years down the line, of course, because he would realize, like, I can't get revenge straight away. People will tell. He has almost deliberately picked one of the 28 they saved, one of the Malkavians, and over the years got them set to become the new Primogen. And when he goes missing, like, I recommend this person. Yeah. Can't do shit about, confirms One IK is dead. Like, uses Trail of Prey, brings as many people as he possibly can along, removes him because Prince Jackson cannot be affected like that. Yeah, and I think he would just, Chicago's his thing. He just takes that time away in Alabama before coming back and just goes.
Okay. If that is the fate of our kindred.
To continuously busy as per fucking
Yeah.
usual.
Never
Chicago.
ceasing.
Chicago stands in a place of importance to Kindred Society, and as a place where history has been created and made again and again and again. Perhaps a city of not so much importance in the human world, but here, our three kindred brought the La Sombra into the Camarilla, fought for stability between the Anarchs and the Camarilla, uncovered and unearthed many a conspiracy, fought tooth and nail through the politics of each night through Kindred Society, sometimes fought literally with tooth and claw against the dangers that lurk in the night and the creatures that are even more powerful than themselves, yet navigated through all these things. And what's in the future for them, who knows? But that brings us to the end of our chronicle of the Chicago by night.
Damn. Just like that on a Thursday night.
Just like that. What I'd like to do now, for as long as we'd like to do, is sort of just open up into a little, Q&A between each other. But anyone in chat as well, feel free to throw out questions and things you want answers for, or want to ask.
Oh, there's our first question. What happened to Josephine?
Oh, V's been working with Josephine, on her hits and stuff. She's training this girl up to know what's going on, going through. Okay, no, that's not okay. This is what blood sorcery is. If I do this, that happens.
You're educating her.
Yes, I'm educating her because she
Queen.
can't go around getting herself killed, and I can't let her die, and I also can't let her not be ghoul. So
I feel
we're
like I
working
would
together.
probably, if you set your mind to educating her, Joseph would probably do fucking lesson plans for you. He's like, you're terrible
That's
at
not gonna
explaining
work.
things.
It's not
Please
gonna work with
read this flashcard to her.
The
She
Josephine,
can't read a flashcard. She
we're
can't do
doing
it.
on it's on hands training. It's full
Oh,
on.
God.
We're going to be killing vampires while I'm explaining shit to her because I think that's the only way to
Disengage.
learn.
He's like, we're not
Yeah,
a
I'm like,
coterie.
Josephine, Joseph, I'm sorry, but this is how it has
He's
to be
crying blood. Please, just give her a flashcard.
done. Joseph, it's not gonna work. I've tried.
A textbook, please. I'll write it down.
There you go. A deadly duo between V and Josephine.
They are queens.
Every independent or
The vampire hunter and the
against
hunter vampire.
against the non-coterie and Chicago itself quivers in fear.
Yeah.
As do I.
What happened? Question from Alex. What happened to the Sabat that thunder stomped Felix? Yes.
Good
So
question.
the seven flames that were meant to be part of a greater plot in Chicago. We had a choice between going after them or going after the Second Inquisition base. They are also people you could have potentially allied with at the end for the base as well.
True.
However, with the tightening grip of First Light and such, and the Camarilla,
And the fact we nuked them with a halfler. Just be like, hey, we're here to
Is it
chat
not-
now.
bunch of very powerful, kindred that are sort of ominously still there in our background of our characters' futures, especially the Sinisi who promised a great battle in the future.
They were lovely. I liked
Yeah,
them.
actually, it's
whenever that might be. That
Genuinely
battle
cool.
is, it's sort of a future thing that happens between our kindred, who they sort of split up, go to do their politics and all their separate things, but are brought back together through fate, circumstance, and such.
On the note of the Sabat, my all naked husband, did he go to Willerton and die?
Samson.
Yes, that's who he's referring.
Samson.
Sorry, not husband, boyfriend.
Samson met up with the other flames,
Got it.
not one himself, and made the call to arms known and did go to Willerton and was killed in the process.
Got it.
Yep.
Sad.
Idiot.
Oh, you listen to me? First mistake.
Yeah, you literally work for the tree. Like,
They sent him to my cult.
yes, that's
Willerton.
true.
You are a leader of the cult. It's true.
But how
I
are they
go
doing
to
without you?
Alabama. Oh, I've been
Screaming and
mourning.
Hmm.
Oh. No.
Oh, I had so many questions and now I can't think
Questions
of them.
for each other as well.
What was Sun's weak point?
Yes. Spoilers for Chicago by Night. Anybody who's playing Chicago by Night. So Sun, what was happening, which we didn't really put together. I gave you the clues, but we didn't quite put
Yeah.
together.
Smooth brain.
Was that Sun was siring childer and then eating them as a Diablerist.
Okay.
Yeah.
But their bodies were still there. Oh, like dead bodies. So it just
They were just turning as well.
Yeah, remember they would. Yeah, we found a whole bunch of.
Yes.
Oh, all of my fucking premonitions. So the wolf with the crown.
God, yeah.
What was that? The one I
1
Yes.
Okay.
One Eye K, whose real name is Olaf, is actually of Viking descendancy, hence the symbology of the Viking dragging
Of
themselves from the
Odin's
ocean,
stuff.
finding the throne, and
Mhm.
having the crow and such on their back. They are the one-eyed wolf, hence the crown that they were wearing and chomping on as well, because Olaf was the Prince of
my
Chicago.
lack of
for a very long
mythological
time.
knowledge is just like cool.
Yeah, no, I get that mythological
Yeah.
symbology,
Yeah.
but I needed that confirmation that it was one IK because at first I thought it was the Camarilla
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, he represented the biggest threat
threat to the Camarilla.
to, yeah.
Mm.
And hence why when you
Um,
killed Malenkov, the weapon that you could have used towards fighting him disappeared.
Yeah, got it. I thought it was one
okay.
of his weapons that
No.
was just yeah, got it. All right.
On a similar vein to the premonition stuff, the one premonition that that Joseph had, that was I think the thin bloods of each clan or something being
yes,
sacrificed to
yeah.
the blood and
interesting.
sacrificed to
Throwing the guts and stuff into the lake.
Yeah.
It was a very visceral.
One of each clan for it was very Lilith energy.
Lilith energy.
That is very much in reference to what Irene has been sort of experiencing with the drowned, is to keep them asleep.
Got
Whatever
it.
the drowned might be. It is a ritual that keeps them asleep.
Great question. What is the what the fuck? is that?
Next
Noise.
question.
What
The
is that? What is that?
Beetlejuice?
Like, so that in the Chicago book is really up to your interpretation. I interpreted it as either a shard of Shalim or just the aspect or the will of La Sombra themselves. Sort of, it's so dark there that part of them is sort of subconsciously affecting that nearby. But I thought it was a supernatural. I thought it was a shard of Shalim.
Considering we
fun.
had a La Sombra who followed Shalim, it was
Yes.
very great to tie it in because in
It was-
the
Yeah.
Specifically why I
Um,
chose that option.
and Book of Nods saying something beneath the lake
Yep.
Mm.
fits so well
Mhm.
with the Shalim.
It's
perfect. On the lake, because I fully thought that Sun Chi had been. Because what is it? There's that old demon clan where they like.
Bali.
Bali.
Yeah.
Um,
Is Sun Chi a Bali?
she's not a Bali. Again, the book doesn't explain it. She's just possessed.
it.
It just says she's possessed by something.
Just
I
a
chose it to be a demon,
it.
literal demon, that she has perhaps some sort of weird Bali connection, but she's not quite one.
Yeah, just like Dark
So she was
Dawn.
born in a similar way to a Bali, but she became a Tremere instead.
Got it.
Because they usually get born in like pits of flesh and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
yeah. So I made it a literal demon because it was interesting.
Yeah, and it tied
Yeah.
well into the like the La Sombra girl who was also possessed.
Oh yeah.
And
Again,
almost tied into
that is
Yeah, what-
not. That is just suggested that she's haunted by some shadow that follows her. I interpreted that as some sort of demonic
Tally.
figure.
Mm.
Oh,
I mean, now he haunts her.
yeah.
Yeah, tied in well because it fit in with that premonition of like one of each clan to then have a Tremere possess, like a La Sombra possess. It was very easy to just be like, oh god, there's going to be
It's the
demons in
premonition.
each.
Everything's coming true.
Yeah.
Love eat.
Yeah.
Oh. Walter Trash, is he dead?
If not, he will be soon.
I feel like he just can't die.
He has
He's a
to.
fucking cockroach.
You sent someone after him, didn't you?
I sent Josephine after him
prince.
ages
Oh
ago.
no, he probably. I never really rolled for it, but she probably would have caught him very easily and killed him.
Oh,
Oh,
fantastic.
cool.
Josephine's
The minute he learns
extremely
that, Joseph's like,
Yeah.
Josephine's great.
during that month.
You're like, okay, that's a tick on the Josephine
Yeah, during that
list.
month you were all asleep. She probably caught him and killed him because he's not exactly subtle, and Josephine's very good at what she does.
Yeah.
Mean shit.
I believe you found her at the bar that he actually was frequenting as well.
Yes, yeah, that he
Yep.
kept in a memory.
That's right. Narissa Blackwater is a good question. She is another one where the book says we don't fucking know who she is, but here's a bunch of
Oh.
options that she can be.
She's Lilith's
Oh, that's
kid.
cool.
The one that I chose was that she is Lilith's child.
Hmm.
Wow.
So very closely connected with that and rival of Helena.
Yeah.
Because her influence is.
Because
Oh.
that ties into Khaled's lore sheet. That
Yes,
if
it
you
does.
have like the fifth dot and you try to learn about Narissa Blackwater and you fail, she becomes immediately aware of your
Mhm.
location.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Love
reminds
it.
me of two questions. Firstly, who was that creepy lady that kept coming up to V and going like,
That was
"Ooh,
Narissa
Miss-"
Blackwood.
Is that Narissa Blackwood? I don't remember if I ever
That
got
was
a name
Narissa
for it.
Blackwater.
Okay, and the second question is, what did Fatima do with the knowledge of Tally's
True.
hideout?
A great question.
Yeah, what did my queen do?
Basically, the two of them became aware of each other, and it just by coincidence they didn't actually meet in combat within Chicago. Fatima's moving elsewhere.
Cool.
She basically went north from where she began through Chicago all the way through. Well, she happened to be there. It just so happened either by the two of them not wanting to meet in combat because they're both very formidable foes.
It would take
Or-
fucking years.
Too much shit was happening in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
What was the potion that V was given?
Fatima's blood that would simply give you access
Thought
to
so.
lightning strike.
Oh.
Damn. Okay.
For a
and
night.
the spell.
The spell
Oh, yeah, the
was.
creepy ass spell.
I can get you the exact name of the spell actually.
Because we were given all this cool shit. And
A dark
Did not.
thaumaturgy that Beck has used against my
Yeah.
group at some point before. It's fucking terrifying. I
It's
love
fun.
it. What was it called?
God.
I can't remember. what it's
Agony
called.
Within.
Yeah.
It's called.
Oh,
It's a 4-dot path of pain, dark thaumaturgy.
shit.
Basically, someone's blood turns into
And
hooked
chub-
tendrils and shreds their arteries from the inside out.
Oh, hell yeah.
great.
Yeah, so
Live,
it's super
love,
fucked
love.
up, but it's really cool.
And the
Yeah.
downside would have been
You lose humanity. You
God.
straight up lose
Ah,
humanity for using
Yeah,
it.
fair.
Depending on how
I
well
love
you
that
roll.
shit so much.
It's like using it's the same sort of thing as Blood Cauldron, but worse. 'Cause it's dark thaumaturgy, you're accessing
Yeah,
demonic
yeah.
magic.
Demonic energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The price you pay, right?
For
Yes.
being badass.
Darkest and Little Lamb's Room in the Labyrinth. I just made that up because it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Good.
That was nothing special.
Queen
I
is
just thought it
queen.
was kind of cool.
Joseph's eyeballs went, "Whoop."
Yep.
Yeah.
That
was
was
good.
It was me being like sometimes knowing in the world of darkness, sometimes knowing things is worse than not knowing them. Very sort of Cthulhu sort of
I was gonna say very Call of Cthulhu.
yeah,
energy.
very Call of Cthulhu energy.
yeah.
Sometimes things are better left unknown.
I mean, That's been V's entire philosophy for everything. Like
And the
Willerton, I'm like, I do not want to
antithesis
see this.
of
I don't want to see this. I
Joseph.
don't want to.
He was like, I acknowledge his power, you have to know. And then he touches things that are really big and he's like, sometimes you
Not
don't
knowing
need to
is
know
okay.
everything.
What else? Any other questions for each other?
Oh,
as
Mary
well?
Angel. What happened to Mary Angel?
Mary Angel
Mary
left.
Angel.
Because okay, cool.
Good
I think
for
at
her.
some point in the future, if she came back in, I still would have given her that gold converter.
The Gangrel basically fled Chicago because all the weird stuff with the animals and stuff
Yeah.
going on. Also, like,
Fair.
oh
yeah.
yeah, also weird rumblings, but also their clan got sort of messed around with all the stuff that happened with Coterie, and Mary Angel was the least tied down. She especially left.
Did Lester leave or did he die?
Lester Knife was consumed by the drowned.
Oh,
By the what?
Oh, the
The drowned.
your
Oh,
friends.
I thought you said by the Tremere. I'm like,
Me too. I was like, pardon?
is Helena just vibing?
Helena's having a
Is she
great
just
time.
vibing?
Yeah, of course
The
she's
amount of
vibing.
drama
Nothing
that
can
just
stop
happened in
her.
Chicago over the
Yeah.
last fucking year. She's like, I love the city.
Yeah, literally. This is the best place to be.
And is she literally using that salubri to just like have a kid?
Oh,
on
yeah.
the realm?
No, it's
Yeah,
more.
good
It's
Valerie.
more fun that they're the last one. It makes them precious. She's actually blood bonded
Got it.
them and is keeping them,
Yeah.
like
Safe.
not feeding on them, but like keeping them around because they're like
The last
a
one.
lovely jewel to hang around because they're rare, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So kind of
Mhm.
worse.
That's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Oh, also Phoebe, the reason we knew that chick that was following you was Narissa Blackwater because the one time in session her picture was uploaded to the Discord, my notification came up with the file name of the image instead of the actual image, and it said Narissa Blackwater, and I was like,
God damn it.
didn't say shit though.
Will
Good.
Helena go eat
Yeah.
Aurora? Absolutely not.
No. What is?
What about Aurora?
Aurora's thriving.
Yeah.
Raven, that's good.
I forgot her name.
It's now
No.
easiest
Oh
city
yeah,
to
what
live
happened
in.
to my friend Sylvia? How's she doing?
Sylvia
Oh,
had
So
the-
she
no.
was a werewolf that was turned,
right.
right?
So during
she-
the process of becoming a werewolf, you have to go through all these trials.
The
and
law
shit.
calls them abominations.
Yeah, it's
just so
not
we
great.
know.
It's
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
she has a lot of hard work to do. I don't know. I let
And
that
then
up in the air because it's it's most likely that she just gets killed on sight. But there's always a possibility that you find someone who's willing to teach her these things and actually convert it back.
yeah.
Oh,
So I don't
love
know.
her.
Yeah.
Did Aurora make a new child? Yes, actually, technically the so what I was gonna have earlier in the story when you guys killed her child, this was off stream. No one actually saw this when we did this, but Aurora's Ultimate child of the Dracon that our kindred engaged with battle with to save a Salubri. Save a Salubri. And
Well,
give
the
them to
sleeping more
Helena.
like saves Joseph, to be real.
yeah.
Queen
We have to
Aurora had a child named Marsh, who they presented as their sacrifice so that Irene could get into the Camarilla as a La Sombra. The thing about that is that Aurora, there are some Dark Ages vicissitude abilities. One of them is as long as you have a tiny part of someone, you can always build them back up and they never truly die. So Marsh is actually not dead. Marsh is still alive.
Love
Okay.
that.
Aurora just
That's
put it
great.
back together.
That's
I
horrifying,
liked
but great.
her.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to die.
So
she
Aurora,
just had to.
yeah.
Yeah,
Marsh never really died. Which is going to be a fun thing if you ever went back, that she was still there.
but we weren't dumb enough to go back.
That's
We
correct.
decided not to do that.
Yes.
Looks to Felix, looks away.
Well, he didn't make that mistake twice.
Eh,
Very
true.
fair.
Beck,
Very true.
how aware were you of the drowned stuff, or was it sprung on you?
I was not
just
aware
as
at all.
much? Okay, cool. Because there was so
100%
much
not a
water
woman.
iconography, and I assume that was just because the lake and Shalim stuff was like a character thing that interested you. Is that right?
Well, I did the water iconography stuff because like Corsair, La Sombra, Bloodline
Yeah.
stuff. And the lake thing just kind of happened.
Kind of happened. All right,
Yeah.
good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's good.
with that is I can never remember her name. Not Alyssa.
Alexa?
Alexa. Is she a Hakato or is she actually Malkavian?
Alexa's
Are
a
there any
Malkavian,
Hakato? Okay.
Thought so.
but people think she's a Hakata because she has access to Oblivion.
Did what happened?
What happened to the Hakata? Why is Vasco our only?
Did they
daddy?
just leave?
Book doesn't tell me.
Yeah.
So you know,
What is? Yeah.
my fucking Chicago canon is that they stumbled across some fucked up shit in the lake and they went, all right, see you later. This is way too much for us. Also, Chinatown is where they used to be, and it's mage territory as well. So they probably got either wiped out or left. But I wanted to have a Hakata in the story, so I homebrewed and made Vasco.
Love Vasco. Best.
Love him.
Vasco.
Deserves everything.
They released all the new stuff while we were playing, and I was like, I've got to put this in here somehow.
Yeah. Oh, what school is he? What house is he?
I never got that far in his character creation. He has a non-defined
Good for him.
bloodline.
Damn.
He doesn't.
He's
partake
new.
in any
He's
of that shit.
He's
I
like,
guess. Yeah.
It's like, I'm a Hakata.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Get over
Through.
it.
Sort of just
Nice.
a generic bloodline.
I like that.
What happened to Blue Serpent? Blue Serpent was milked for all the information they had that they could get and then executed swiftly.
Yeah.
Yes, good. As all things as they should be.
Yeah.
What questions?
Is there anything that either of you had for your characters that never got explored or that you never
great question.
integrated into like any secrets that you just never arose?
My stalker flaw being my niece. And her being at university and being like, you look super familiar to Joseph. And then her using her photography and stuff too, because it came up early when we saved Catherine and stuff like that. But her being obsessed with Joseph because she's like trying to figure out what this is, very, very Joseph-esque, to be like, what the fuck's going on? And almost turning her into a new touchstone was the goal.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I had old Sabat stalkers too, but that never came up either, which is probably the only thing I think that didn't.
Old Mate We Killed could have counted, right?
Yeah.
It was like, I've come to kill you and Sierra.
Lancaster.
Yeah, I suppose that's sort of a version of that.
Yeah, because he was on our fucking dick the whole time.
Until he wasn't.
Yeah. God bless the Half-Life.
The holy
God's greatest creation for Half-Life.
Bring up the holy
Difficulty 3. So fucking, that is a very powerful weapon.
Yeah. We think of anything?
What about you, V?
I think most of my stuff I tried to integrate. Like, technically, I don't think V ever actually told you that she killed her sire, and that just dawned on me now. It was never an in-character thing.
Yeah,
but I mentioned it out of character constantly.
Died, and that's all we know. Yeah.
I was like, it was a tragic accident. We don't talk about the frenzy.
Yeah.
I had another touchstone, but I didn't really get into their stuff. I had the person she went to Cairo with to do the documentary.
Got it. Yeah.
Liam. I forgot his name last time I mentioned him, and then like at midnight woke up and went, Liam.
Actually, I guess along a similar note, if we were less careful, are there some decisions that you would go back and make more recklessly?
Yeah.
more recklessly.
What consequences could have we?
Yeah, what kind of like
Give me
real
the consequence.
big shit would
Well,
you
I
have
bought
done?
the void door and I never used it. I wanted to use it on someone.
True, just
Preferably
like
Jason.
killing innocents without being like, I don't want to harm the group and make people just being like,
Yeah,
we need
that's
a
why I
gate.
didn't use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna use it either on Jason Newberry because of our plan, or I don't know, depending on how things went.
What about like social or political moves?
I didn't build Irene to be like politically active at all because she cared more about the occulty sort of side of things. So I don't think there's anything that she would have done different. Especially because she got what she wanted in a fairly direct kind of way, I think.
Would you have like, I don't know, been more outward with your Shalim stuff? I know that's the point of it, is to be very secret, but if we were like balls to the walls in it.
It would have
you
been
have-
interesting.
Yeah.
If something was to come up like a desperate situation or something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely not to Tally because that's just game ending.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to talk about it with, I don't know, somebody like that ministry guy who came up to me at the party and was like, do you
Alec.
like doing bad
Alec.
stuff? I'm like, I want to know about you, but then we didn't get to know about him. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could have interacted with him more without like it just for the funsies, like it wasn't gonna interact with the story at all, but he was a cool dude.
Yeah. Interesting. Definitely not a wholesome man, but his ministry, so
I feel like if I
And
was
dating
less,
Alexa, so
less careful, I would have interacted with Helena a bunch more.
mm-hmm.
I would have been like, I'll do a job for you, help me out. Like just abusing her desire for drama and Joseph's like desire to change things.
Yeah,
would have been
sure.
very risky because she
yeah.
would have gotten to do some insane shit. But I think it would have
oh
been
yeah.
so fascinating to just be working with Helena, like consciously
Yeah.
and deliberately not telling me guys. Would
Yeah.
have been very interesting.
I probably would have done more like fatal knowledge, go into the lake and fuck up my, chances of being human ever again kind of thing. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have done more for the Thin Bloods if I was like very much
Didn't sacrifice your position.
Yeah, if it didn't like full on go, okay, she's against the Camarilla, kill her. Like
yeah, that was an interesting situation, that one. It was fun.
What is an unexpected like character decision or choice or like development that you didn't expect?
Good question.
Because I did
tricky.
not expect to ultimately be quite smitten with Victoria, or like to be so like we work together, we banter back and forth and actually get along.
Annabelle is like,
did not
beautiful.
expect it at all. Like,
but
was
it's
very
so good.
much like good to see Annabelle, stick to my little lane, stick with my Tremere. To that was very, and to go out of my way to like try and help Olivia. It was like
poor Olivia. I forgot about her.
I did not expect it at all.
I was expecting Irene to be a lot more anti-anarch and like so very like staunch militant Camarilla, but I think it's the effect of Fee and Joseph on her that made her
the high humanity peeps. Yeah.
Just being like, you have to understand the other side. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to understand it.
Yeah, just a lot less militant than I envisioned at the beginning, which I think was for the best because it creates more empathetic scenarios and stuff.
The softening of Irene was like the most delicious development ever.
Yes, me too.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Did anything happen with V that you were not expecting?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment.
Did you imagine becoming the Camarilla's greatest assassin?
Or what about having your touchstone kidnapped and having an entire little chat.
Oh god, that was
it's
a
really good.
lot. But I did on my when you got us to write like little paragraphs about our touchstones, at the very top I did put a disclaimer saying you can do whatever the fuck you want.
You
Oh my
sure
God.
I give
did.
you permission to do whatever.
And
I
But in
remembered.
retrospect- now I think about that, I'm like, oh shit, but I did write that. So yeah, I think I actually was not expecting Michael and V to actually be able to get along and have that scene where they talk about like
Reconnect.
that one scene like at some point where she just hangs out with him and they talk about seeing a movie sometime together, and she explains kind of what kindredy is without actually mentioning any of the words. Like there's a lot of things, like I never thought she would diablerize, but
Yeah.
it was kind of always on the table. Never thought she would create a ghoul, but that was, a dramatic life or death situation. She I think opened up a lot quicker than I was kind of expecting with the group, but I like that because we all like just gelled. Our
Yeah.
team gelled so well already, it just kind of made sense. And with the early Diablerie, like what was that, session 3 or something?
Yeah.
Only to come
believe it was
closer than with a
session
bit
3.
of diablerie. Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
Diablerie session 3.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, I forgot the double aspect. Yeah.
Ethan, what's the most unexpected thing that happened in your perspective?
Just how fucking well all of you roll all the time. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fail once,
I roll so
please.
badly every other character I play.
There was a lot of times where I was doing very bad for a very long time.
It
but near
doesn't
the
feel
end,
like
being
it, let me tell you.
The thing is, I will let you know, almost as a player, and like the way I manipulated Joseph was I got him out of situations. I always got him to the fringes so that he wasn't rolling, which is why it felt like success.
Most unexpected thing.
Yeah.
I think how much as a group you had so many opportunities to throw other people under the bus. You had many opportunities to use people as footholds for your own gain, politically or physically or resource wise. And this coterie never did that. They always picked the more difficult high road. Even as the Anarchs hated the shit out of them, they still wanted to talk to them. They still wanted to make allies and still stay out of their way, or even little things that they did were always to the benefit of the whole and never the self, which was really surprising in a World of Darkness game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Very good vampires.
I feel like it could have gone very the other way if we hadn't have bonded so quickly. I feel like we did, like it's been said, fed off each other.
It was
such a way.
It was a good challenge though to see how characters responded to this, because a lot of characters in World of Darkness are not good people.
No.
They haven't survived this long by being
it's
good
hard
people.
to be good people
It
as
is.
well, and you definitely made sure that we knew that
When
as
you're
we
a
did
blood-sucking
everything.
mosquito,
Yeah.
it's pretty difficult. Yeah, with a god complex as well. Yeah. That was the most surprising thing. Couple more questions.
I think it was surprising to do. I think you mentioning that reminded me of the heart-rending scenario when Raphael was in the other room and I was being like confronted by Jason, and he said, I know that these are Diablerous. And even in the moment, I couldn't hear anything. My heart was racing and I was like, no, she's not. Like, even in that moment, being like, she's not a Diablerous. It caught me off guard, I'll let you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we sort of moved past and such, but found the focus, which was fine. That's sort of what I do with these sorts of games, just throw a shitload of things at you and you guys figure out what you want to focus on. And such, which we did, which was the Maxwell stuff for a while, the conspiracy behind that, who was behind all of that being 1IK. And also First Light was a very big focus throughout the whole Chronicle. So that was sort of the two things of like the two biggest threats to the Camarilla. and the
Yeah.
Kindred of Chicago, which is sort of the focus we
Sure.
chose,
Yeah, definitely.
which is a bit of fun. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, queries, concerns?
Concerns. I'm not
About
concerned. No, I'm kidding.
it's
What's
over.
there to be
So we've got
concerned
all these
about?
spell saves now.
It's over. You can.
I'm just bullying you. You might have to realize.
This is the week. This is nothing new. This is a weekly occurrence that I deal with. So whatever.
Thursday night is bullying night.
It's true.
It's on the calendar.
It's time to bully.
I think this is very broad just because I have an idea. I feel like it would have been, if you could have taken derailing actions that would have changed the course of the campaign, was there a point in time that you feel like the choice you made would have done that? Because I was like, if there was a moment where I almost turned to support Mel Davis and like joined the Anarchs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was quite difficult not to. Was there ever a moment that
Oh, mine's similar, but in Gary, I could have
Yeah.
very much gone the complete opposite way, but I felt that you guys and the story was heading a very specific way, so I decided against it.
Still
this
voiced it
is-
well though?
Yeah.
Oh,
This isn't
it's gonna be loud.
yeah, just loudness. Mine isn't a derailing action, but I wanted to do the void door on Lancaster, and nobody liked that. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm very tempted.
Like the void door. I want to be very clear that at no point Joseph said don't kill innocents.
Yeah, V was thinking firstly her humanity, Joseph's humanity, and then Irene's humanity, knowing that shit is low already.
I am
Yeah.
Golconda. I can turn humanity off. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
well, you have an off switch. None of us have an off switch.
Sorry about it.
That's true.
Fucking Golconda.
Get on my level.
I
Yeah.
had a question. I forgot what it was.
Who was it for?
Everybody, it'll come back to me.
I think I would have liked, I got the fifth dot in Golconda quite late, but I feel like it would have been way too selfish, but having more time out in the sun.
You
would
just
have
having day
been-
trips every night. Hey.
Yeah, almost showing that like ongoing delusion that he'd given himself that he was basically human.
Yeah.
Like really engaging in that would have been, I feel like actually more detrimental to him. So I'm glad I didn't, but would have been interesting.
What from this chronicle
Mhm.
are you going to take away to your next Vampire the Masquerade game?
Ooh.
How are you going to like? Is it you're going to role play slightly differently? Are you going? Do you know more rules about the game? Do you
Don't give players
just
too
feel
much
more?
XP.
more yeah, yeah, everybody watching at home, do not give them 1 XP per session, please. Do not give them any more than that. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
We're
No,
great players.
Just listen to
my
me. Don't listen to
God.
these guys. Don't listen to them. 1 XP per
Um,
session.
XP.
I think because of the
Holy
amount of
shit.
XP we got and the fact you gave me V20 stuff, which is
Yeah.
beyond generous,
Give
I'm
your
probably
Tremere some extra
never going to play a Tremere again. Just because I'm
Yeah.
like, the blood sorceries are great, but by the end of it, I was never using anything for myself.
Mm.
So I think I got the perfect Tremere play. What else? I think I'm just gonna be like more of a more direct. My negotiation skills never worked in a way that like Joseph was built in a way that people would always underestimate him. So it worked how it worked in this campaign perfectly. But in the future, I know not to waffle on as much.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a big question.
It
Yeah.
is.
We learned so much from this because
Yeah, I came into this knowing like fuck all about
Yeah, to be
V5, so-
clear, to everybody, we have been doing what, 59 sessions?
Yep, 59th session tonight.
So
Yeah.
we started this offline as my very first, and I think it was all of our very first.
Yep.
I
Not
played a
Jack's,
one shot and
yeah.
that was it.
I had not
Yeah.
played a single game.
So first full chronicle
Yeah.
for all of us, and 59 sessions go by. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the being in the vampire, like seeing other people playing and like the world of darkness, getting into it. I already roleplay enough that's like togetherness is so important, but I feel like the amount of success that we had was because of our togetherness.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring that into, I already do, but into everything.
That's
Yeah.
one of the
It's the
things
most
I was going to
satisfying.
mention.
Mhm.
Yeah, because just because it is a vampire game, you can have drama, and definitely you want the drama, but the drama doesn't always have to be internal within your coterie and working together.
Mm.
Even vampires can find a common goal.
Yes. Common
Really
enemy.
well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did
'cause
what did you two, Beck and Phoebe, take away from this chronicle?
Oh.
Even it can be just a small thing. You don't have to. It
more
doesn't have to be-
celerity. No.
Yeah, it can be. I
That's hilarious.
really like this discipline. I hate
More
that one. You know?
potence.
Oh,
It's really hard to use Dominate as a player.
yeah.
That's right.
It's really hard to do it in the moment and not think about it extensively beforehand like you do in your storytelling.
That's
Mm.
a really good note for all storytellers out there, is to
Yeah.
give your players kindred that they can dominate, as well as give them time to think about the domination.
Absolutely.
moves.
Because just
Yeah.
having like, if you do it against an older kindred and they just be like, oh, sorry, no, it's really,
And then immediately get your
I
back.
hate it. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
just
then
like,
you
oh, you
die.
try to dominate me? Get fucked.
Yeah.
it's very like, you know,
High
your
risk.
storyteller doing the Uno reverse card on you, which never feels good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's sort
it's
of
a
a
gotcha
mechanic
moment.
that allows that. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
exactly.
High risk, low reward.
That's just like one of my few gripes with V5, honestly. But
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I realized playing this character is that Dominate's very, very difficult to use well as a player. You sort of have to either get into a mindset
Or stick
or
just
think
with
about
mortals.
it. Yeah,
Mm.
which is really annoying
Yeah.
and not cool.
Models
but yeah.
suck. Ugh.
Because it's also like understandably from the storyteller side, like, cool, this character believes in this. Oh, they are now doing something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's entirely for the player, which feels wrong. Like, that's too easy. This isn't
Yeah.
a challenge.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's a weird one.
I think something I learnt later on and became like more important as we were doing is that specialties and skills super
Really good.
important.
Yeah.
Also, skills super important.
Yeah.
Don't send everything into disciplines because you don't
Yeah.
roll disciplines constantly.
Yeah, that's something I find often the more games I get involved in is exactly that. Is people go, I'm going to get level,
Specialties
I'm
and
going to get
skills.
all the disciplines, and then you're like, roll a simple skill, and they're like, I can't do that. You
Mm.
know, I can superpower my way through some situations,
Yeah.
and then
And
they're
5 dots in presence, make a politics
Yeah,
roll. I got
exactly.
a success.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, because the
Um,
skills are the human, the character, and the disciplines are just the icing on
The
top.
vampire.
Exactly.
You need to have a fully fledged out character, and
Yeah.
that's what
Human
the skills
first.
are. Yeah. You don't
Or, like,
start off a
use-
god, okay?
Use the actions you've been doing to shape
God.
what
Piss
you
a lot
get.
of people off by saying that,
Mm.
Phoebe.
Oh no, I've made a spicy TTRPG take already.
Oh no! Cancel.
oh God.
You're not playing gods. What? Surely not.
Cool. Any last questions or anything? I
That I
think
can think of.
yeah. And the other stuff we'll obviously be talking after the session as well about stuff. Cool. In that case, that's been Chicago by Night. It's the end of this chronicle. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's do one final round of reintroducing these characters to everybody,
Sign-offs.
and tell us where we can find you, what you're doing as well. Plug your social medias and such. Tell us
Plug.
where people can DM you to hire you for their own tabletop role-playing games.
Oh God.
Starting with Phoebe.
Yeah. Hi. I've not been playing Phoebe. I am Phoebe, and I have been for 59 sessions playing the coterie, not coterie, whatever it is, Banu Hakim. I love these guys all so much. It's been so good. I am so happy that we did this. I am at Sherbrooke Waters on all things. I stream on Mondays and sometimes on Tuesdays on Sherbrooke Waters at Twitch. And you can find me on Twitter. I will be there constantly. Way too much. It's a problem.
Hi everyone. I'm back. I have played all that double past tense goodness. Irene, the La Sombra of the group. You can find me here at Zeit_Poltergeist, where I stream a V5 Dark Ages game with Phoebe and Ethan. It's moved to Friday mornings, but we shan't be playing tomorrow morning because I need a break to sleep. But we'll be back next week for more. At least so far, that's the plan. Aside from that, I will be starting a pre-recording of a game set in the Reign of Terror with Jack. Ethan's helped me to write it, and it'll be coming onto Twitch and then YouTube a little bit later on down the track once we've pre-recorded everything. Aside from that, I'm on Twitter as well, mostly giving terrible takes and posting memes and things, nothing too exciting. And yeah, aside from that, I'm just floating around the ether as one does.
I'm Jack. I have been playing Joseph Martinez, House Kana, Tremere Primogen, the Prince's Warlock, Prince of Thin Bloods, and Fire to Penelope White.
Lovely.
I'm at Dr. Radiance on some things and Jaxical on other things. You'll see me on these channels all the time because I'm a pleasure to be around.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But yes, you should definitely, when that pre-recorded French Revolution game comes out, because I've been playing such a lovely character here to be playing the exact opposite.
It's gonna be fucking amazing.
It's gonna be, ooh, I can be a bad person. So do tune in for that.
I 100% agree. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Keep your eyes open for that because there's going to be a lot of drama, excitement. It's a great story as well.
Heads will be chopped off.
Heads
as
will
in-
be. Heads will roll.
Yeah.
I am Ethan, the storyteller of this. I have been the storyteller of this wonderful group of people. Once again, please DM them and ask them to be on your games because they're the best role players I know. And it's not really goodbye because next week I'm stealing them back for something
Yes, that's true.
special.
We're being yanked back.
Yeah, if you'll check under your desk, there's some chains and such, so you can't actually
Oh, no.
leave.
Oh my god.
Next week, something
No
really
comment.
exciting, something different as well. A bit later than usual, start an hour later than we usually do. But please come on by. It'll be a one shot, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, we're starting up a new game, time to be determined on the channel, which will be very exciting as well. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, keep tuned with all that these people do. They do some wonderful things on social media and Twitch, Twitter, etc. And yeah, we'll be seeing you. I'm sure you'll be seeing all of these guys often here as well.
Can't get rid of us.
Yeah, I can't get rid of it. It's help, please.
What do you mean?
So that's been the game. All right. Thanks everybody for being here throughout the whole thing. It's really meant a lot to every single one of us, and it's been fantastic. We hope to see you all soon. Anyway, see you later.